This is Bastila Shan, and you're listening to KOTORadio.
Hey KOTORadio listeners, this is JC and Jenks. I'm the director of KOTOR Episode 1 Special Edition.
A Familiar Path.
A Familiar Path. It's got a lot of titles to it. I'm actually here with JC, our talented KOTOR trilogy animator.
Why, thank you. Jenks came to visit me in Boston for his vacation, and we went to Comic-Con. We met Jennifer Hale. Very nice.
Who provided that lovely voice sample earlier
Of course. Thank you, Jennifer.
Yes, thank you, Jennifer Hale. She was awesome to meet. We'll talk about that more in a future KOTORadio, but...
Because we want to focus on the film right now.
Yep. Kevin wanted us to do a little commentary on KOTOR Episode 1, so we're going to get it started. So if you have the movie pulled up, you can get it started when we count it down.
But before we start, I want to give a warning. This is a special edition. We did it after Episode 3. So there may be spoilers both for the film trilogy and for the game. So if you're concerned about that, you have been warned.
If you don't know the twist after 15 years of the game...
Episode 2, we're going to spoil it. We cannot help but spoil it.
Game's been out for about 15 years,
yeah, sorry.
So...
Sorry, guy, but it kind of has.
Alright,
with that out of the way, counting down to play.
Let's
do this.
Let's do this, as Bobek says.
3, 2, 1.
Now, this one was a little weird. We opened with kind of a cold open before the prologue.
Weird. It's an interesting idea.
No, I love doing it, but the other two movies...
It's not the classic Star Wars, and it's not Loganverse stuff.
Yeah.
Classic.
There's not a lot of stuff to recap in this movie because it's the first one.
Yeah, but we wanted to keep that style, of course.
Ghetto Kev loved doing the prologues, and it still kind of fills in the backstory of who Revan is, who Malik is.
So we get the cold open, and it began with war.
And I think it all ties into, because the very talented Christina Nichols does the prologue here. I loved having her voice Bastila, and seeing that shot of Bastila looking down at Revan.
Because we couldn't afford to see Jennifer Hale every day to get her to voice lines for us.
Yeah, plus the convention center was...
We had to find a nice Christina to do it for us.
The convention center was very, very loud.
Oh, yeah. But I also want to mention that before was the dream sequence, which we see early on in the game, but Mr. Director Kevin Smets decided to cut that and save the whole dream thing for later on in Dantooine as a whole plot point. But so now we get to see that early on. That's going to change our perspective of the film.
I kind of forgot that the game shows you half the dream sequence very early on.
It shows you it twice, long before Dantooine.
Yeah, right when the escape pod crashes.
Yeah, and then when you meet Bastila again too.
Yeah, so I guess while the prologue is wrapping up, we might as well talk about why we made the Episode 1 Special Edition.
I want to point out one more thing before that.
Yeah.
Because this is very recent. I was working on a prologue style thing for an upcoming behind the scenes, well, not behind the scenes, we call it the Road to Revan. But I want to say that this style of the pictures on the whole canvas filter was just ingenious. Until I knew we wanted to stylize it, but until I started looking at it and working with it, I didn't realize no matter how low resolution those images are, when you can scale them up 100 times, but it looks so nice with that canvas background. So very nice thinking there, Mr. Director.
So Episode 1 obviously came out in 2006.
It was 2006, 2007. He did the first 40 minutes.
Yeah, the dates were a little ambiguous. It wasn't called Episode 1, A Familiar Path.
Because he only had the game crawl.
It was just the game crawl. It was just Knights of the Old Republic, the movie.
So, of course, we had to do a new crawl here, as you see.
Right here, where it just says right here, Episode 1, A Familiar Path.
Episode 1, A Familiar Path.
Had to match the other three, but...
Now, if you're reading it now and you've played the game or seen the original film, you might see the text is a bit different here. You want to explain? Because, I don't know, do you feel more strongly or do I feel more strongly about this point?
Well, the game says it's like 4,000 years before the original trilogy, which...
And I feel that takes you out of it.
Yeah, it doesn't matter for this story, so...
Yeah, it doesn't matter for the film.
We cut it down and
I get why they did it for the game, to get you explain what the game is, because it's a whole new thing.
And we wanted to name drop Bastila and be mention that Bastila's an important character.
So we made some
changes.
We took some liberties here.
But episode 1, yeah, it came out about 10 years ago.
Yep.
It was really, really good for its time. I mean, that's what got you into it. That's what got me into it.
Yeah, we will be talking about that a lot throughout this thing.
Oh, absolutely. And Kevin did some crazy good stuff with the free cam and his editing, because that film was all held together by what he could do with the free cam and what he could do with his own editing
on the Xbox.
On the Xbox version of the game.
This one was completely redone with the PC version.
Yeah, because the problem was he didn't know he could use the free cam for any of the action scenes until about an hour and a half through the movie.
So he decided very early on, I want to talk about that later when we get to that actual scene, but very early on he decided he wanted to do a special edition to fix up some stuff that he didn't have time to fix. But he wanted to move forward to, everyone was clamoring for episode 1 to be finished, and he wanted to do episode 2. But this was the plan from the beginning. Now 10 years later we finally get to it.
So this is the Endar Spire sequence.
And here's Logan, but the crawl opened with Bastila Shan in big capital letters.
It's kind of a 1-2 switcheroo.
Yeah.
Logan talks here on the Endar Spire, which he didn't in the original cut of the movie.
Yeah.
Kevin was actually really unsure if it worked, and I threw it in the timeline, and I really liked it, so I kept it.
Yeah. So why don't you tell the story of the Endar Spire?
So that's kind of a loaded story, because during episode 3, we thought most of the film was going to be done with Xbox footage like episode 2. The more ideas we had, the more we discovered that it had to be done with the PC version, and JC was animating it. The Iceman, who made his own KOTOR 2 movies, was animating.
I mean, he only got involved because it became clear that Kevin and I could not finish it in time.
Because we agreed to do episode 3 in a year.
We could not finish it. We needed Jenks to come in.
Yep, so I had to come in, and I had never animated for the KOTOR trilogy before. I did some very simple scenes.
Yeah, I mean, you knew how to mod a bit back in the day.
Yeah.
With episode 1, you came in almost uninitiated into the whole thing.
I didn't know how to write a script or how to do any of that stuff, and I was...
Again, to be clear, everything has been replaced here.
Everything.
I mean, we'll be talking about each individual element, but he did everything over again.
But JC and Ice learned how to make their stuff by doing their own movies. And it's hard to just learn stuff in a void, in a creative space. So I was like, if I do the Endar Spire, that'll teach me how to do some action scenes and stuff.
We're working on, right now, as many of you may know, we're working on a prequel series called Revan, about Revan. And Jenks wanted to be there as the third guy for us.
Especially because it's all going to be PC this time.
It's going to be a difficult job.
You've made it just in time. There's only one active escape.
So I was like, I'll do the Endar Spire. I sent it to Kevin.
Hone your skills over there.
Yeah, and then he was like, wow, let's do the rest of the movie. And I didn't know what I was getting into, because I was thinking maybe we could keep the original audio or something.
Because even though the special edition was planned from the beginning, at some point he kind of... I don't want to say he quit doing it, but he gave up interest in doing it himself. And then once he saw Jenks could do it, I mean, let's go, baby.
Well, especially because even what he originally had for episode 1 was to redo the action scenes, but still had it mostly on the Xbox. Yeah. This is actually the first one of our KOTOR movies that was all filmed. This was the first KOTOR movie that was filmed and edited in full 1080p without any Xbox scenes or anything else. So
it was also one of the first we did for not the original special edition. We were in 3 phases. It was first Kevin was doing on his own, and then he recruited me to do it in between episode 2 and 3. But we got sort of sidetracked with that. We did episode 2 Magfest, and then episode 3, and then it became the Jenks phase. But this is one of the original scenes that Kevin and I did. Yeah, you didn't use any of our stuff.
I didn't use any of it.
You didn't have it yet. I mean, I was like, hey, guy, I'll send you a bunch of files, but you already done this.
I had already done it, because I did most of the movie. I did most of the movie in order, but I had already done this scene. But
yeah.
You can find an early version of this scene.
You'd seen the clip of it.
Well, the clip is on YouTube. It was put up in like 2008.
You matched it pretty well. I mean, you matched the whole film pretty well. So
the whole goal was to take what was good about episode 1 and not touch it, and maybe take what didn't work so well or was a limitation of the time and avoid it.
Except for the little changes that Mr. Director and the original film director. And Mr. Director Jenks.
Yeah.
And all of us really, we wanted to add little things here and there, of course.
Yeah, like some of
the George Lucas moment here.
Yeah. Like, we wanted to add some of our Loganverse characters from episode 3.
Speaking of adding things, as you see in this scene, they moved around a bit, right? That was during phase 2 of the thing. That was one of the things Kevin wanted to bring me in and add some motion to these scenes, so they're not just standing still talking to each other.
That's probably the biggest limitation of the Xbox version.
Oh,
is that there's 3 camera angles. They don't move, and it just cuts back and forth.
And the animations are just repeated.
Yeah.
We can change the animations here.
We can change all of it and have the cameras move during the dialogue scene and stuff like that.
Well, he did free cam for some things. Overhead rotating shot is what he says in his animatics. That's the one he loves.
But yeah, I like
but
this
scene. This pulling back was one of the Xbox shots that he did in the previous version.
Yep. And he just put the camera behind Car so you couldn't see the
so
lips
you can't see that he's not talking.
But like some of these shots, I remember from the old version of episode 1, they were just free cam Xbox, and I had to redo.
Introduction to Terrace, just ship's landing. Very nice.
This is the first time I did a walk and talk scene, though. They run right into the Sith. I don't know.
Although, I want to take credit here. I did the first walk and talk
Yes,
for
you
the
did.
Loganverse, which we'll see later.
Yep.
But yeah, very good job here.
They run right into the Sith and don't seem to care about that one. This is another classic scene. This is the I don't like your tone scene.
Yeah, that line's coming up, and also walrus sounds here. Remember?
Yep.
I was insistent that we wanted to use the KOTOR 2 sounds,
Yep.
which sound more like the film sounds.
So originally when we started episode 1, the Endar Spire I cut so that you could actually watch the Endar Spire with the original audio, like all the blasters synced up and stuff.
I remember. I remember like being very insistent once some of the final audio was done to get rid of that. I wanted to hear the real stuff now.
Yeah, but when we did that, we found out that like the only version of the audio, because all the original source files for episode 1 are gone.
Yeah.
The only version of the audio was really, really compressed and didn't sound
I don't like
good.
your tone.
I don't like your tone.
Sorry.
So
Got
the audio was
talking to each other.
The audio was really, really low res or low quality rather.
Yeah, a bit
so,
rate.
The more fight scenes I did on Terrace, the more I was like, well, we're just gonna have to redo the audio.
Oh yeah. That was a big job, but
which turned into a way bigger task.
Yeah, so when I said when
thought.
everything was replaced before, I don't mean the video, I meant the audio.
Yeah, all the video, all the
Well.
audio, even Logan, every single Logan line. That's all. It all had to get replaced.
If that street hustler was telling the truth, then the Rhodian with our information should be in here.
This is the infamous Cantina bit that not everyone.
Next 6, as
Yeah.
we've talked about on KOTORadio. Well, the Kevins have talked about on KOTORadio before.
Not everyone likes this, but I've always kind of dug it. It's like a seedy underground or like a club.
And I was telling you earlier tonight, Attack of the Clones has club music.
Yeah,
It's not just Cantina band.
it's not like some outskirt.
And the game
town.
has some sort of clubby themes. It's not just do 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 all the time.
I love that shot. I matched that shot up perfectly.
The one is
The one where Logan's walking and Car's following. Yeah.
This angle is right from the film, the original film
Yep.
too.
If there was ever a time where I looked at original episode 1, because I had the whole original movie pulled up on my video editor timeline, and I was basically editing on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, if that's a cool shot or an iconic episode 1 shot, I was like, I gotta recreate it. And
So as we talked about before, Kevin sends us animatics to tell us what to do. The original film was your animatic.
it was. And like, I don't know if I could have learned all this just making random stuff, because I needed something to follow, like a template.
Half the job is figuring out what to do first.
Yep. And I never made my own KOTOR 2 movies or anything that exciting, so. The episode 1 special edition.
You're one of us now, though.
Yeah. The episode 1 special edition was kind of the perfect storm of, we need Jenks to learn to do KOTOR stuff for Revan. We've wanted to do it for a long time, so let's just do it. But like this scene, this is the scene where they talk to the Sith Guard about how they need the uniforms. In this one, the original one, they just stand there. And I could have just matched it, but I was like, I want them to walk away so they don't whisper right in front of the Sith guy. So
There they go.
So that's one where I didn't match it that closely.
Rather than whispering, he all the time in the game, he's whispering, but they can hear him.
Yeah.
It's so obvious. There's one point where he calls a woman a spoiled brat right in front of him. He's like, don't bother the spoiled brat. Shut up, Garth.
Yeah. Logan's walking around with his gun out here. the Sith interrogation here.
And now you were insisting about this walrus man.
Yep.
You thought the it sounded too evil with the KOTOR too, or too trashy.
Yeah.
So we did mix in the original Ithorian with.
Yeah, because the Ithorians just sound sad. He sounds sad that he's getting.
I agree, Nick.
He's getting robbed.
After I did it, I came to agree with you. I took the KOTOR 2 sounds and made it like that guttural sound in the background, and added it with the Ithorian. So I believe you cut the Ithorian lines for me, and they were mostly the original lines.
Yep. So because all the audio for episode 1 was burned into one thing, so I had to. I went through a couple week phase where after I cut almost all the video,
the alien VO, and you changed it up a bit.
Yep, I had to go match all of Karth's lines I pulled out of the game and put them on my timeline, all of Bastila's lines. But the alien VO, the game only has 20 or 30, if that.
KOTOR 1 doesn't even have that many. You're thinking of KOTOR 2. KOTOR 1 has 3 for each alien.
And I try to make it so we wouldn't hear the same line of alien dialogue more than once in a scene, and that if there was more than one of that alien, you wouldn't hear that same one in that same chunk of the movie.
Obsessive about that.
Little OCD things kind of maybe made the movie take a little bit longer than I wanted to make, but this is the first scene that you saw before the movie even came out, though, right?
Yes, I believe it just started right now, yeah. When he says, I guess I'm smart enough to leave before the Sith arrive. He wants away. Now, this is my favorite part coming up, well, not the whole film, but of the scene. The thing here is that it's so simple. It's just him walking. He turns around and he says his line.
I have an idea, Karth.
It's just such a simple thing, but that it's something he could do on the Xbox, and it's not in the game, it's for the film, and it just makes you feel like this is a film, it's not some guy playing a video game.
Right, because in the game, you just pick them up as an item and equip them.
You do whatever, or you can do the other one, flirting with the girl or boy in the cantina.
Yep.
But that simplicity, that was what inspired me. And back before we had all these modding tools, the .core file stuff.
Oh, there's Bobek, by the way.
Bobek, yeah, little episode 3 cameo there. But back before we had all that stuff, it was just those simple things we looked for to just
make it feel. Yeah, I remember he posted that clip on the Force.nets and the message boards.
And he had so little to work with on the Xbox that it's very impressive to this day.
Yeah, so I think they talked about it in KOTORadio, but this is our .core commentary.
Yes.
We have a group chat where we spin ideas back and stuff.
It's not just ideas. We talk about how we're doing things. Like how am I gonna do this scene, or how am I gonna do this little trick? What file to edit, or how to edit it. I'm trying to avoid the .core talk right now, but we go into technical detail, and
me, JC, and Ice can talk tech about the game, and Kevin, coming from the Xbox background, isn't as knowledgeable about that.
He's not a PC person. He's not a PC gamer. He's an Xbox Mac guy.
He says he likes listening to it, but I think he might secretly hate it because
think he wants to learn. But when he gets frustrated or just does not understand us, he says we're talking about core file stuff, which, by the way, is not a real file in the game system. It's what he made up. He thought he made it up, and then he wasn't sure if he made it up or not. That's his little joke.
I forgot to mention we put Karth in his in the Sith outfit here.
I reminded you earlier.
In the Xbox version, you can only have one of the outfits, and Karth just comes with as your Sith slave or something.
I believe the KOTOR 1 little restored thing gives you an extra one for Karth.
But I was like, that bothers me. I kept their unique items so we could tell which one is which.
The restored thing, I want to be fair to them. Was it KOTOR 1 Restoration Project?
Yeah.
They restored some cut content, and they made some changes like that. But you had the idea separate from them, I think.
I just remembered it bothered me that Karth was following some Sith around.
A long time ago, I had it in my stuff too. It's just an obvious thing to do.
It just couldn't be done in the original. So.
Well, I think the reason they did that is because they changed the dialogue when the player is wearing it.
Yeah.
So it would be sort of messed up if they did that. There's a dungeon club now.
The dungeon club with Calo Nord.
Yeah. We gotta set him up as being a character, I guess.
I don't know if anyone noticed, but this scene actually has a big payoff on Kashyyyk.
Oh, yes.
Kashyyyk. This little grenade thing he throws here comes into play later.
Well, that's also a thing that was not in the film, but is in the game.
Yeah.
It was a reference to that, too. We'll talk about that when we get there.
He's got the Jango Fett blasters here.
Oh, yeah, you changed the Jango Fett. There was also another sound effect I liked earlier on with the stun baton.
Oh, yeah, I can't remember what I made those.
I can't remember, but you can look it up.
I'll look it up
You have
later.
to look it up. We got some plans to... We did it the hard way, the sound effects. We got some plans to put these in the game now. So he's going to have to look it up for the future projects.
Yeah. The people might not believe
here's
us.
Another sound. This is, I believe it's a female Rodian from KOTOR 2.
I think it might be. That might have been an accident because it wasn't supposed to be female.
I think it sounds nice, though.
It sounds kind of like slimy and like ratty, like.
And it gives him a little flair.
Yeah.
Because he's trying to hit on her or something.
Because in that scene, there's two Rodians right now talking to Mission. There's another one in the scene before that gets killed by Callow.
In the game, they're saying the same thing.
It's the exact same voice, and I was like, oh, we can't have that. So I used stuff from KOTOR 1, KOTOR 2.
Another thing you changed
MMO.
was you had Zalbar was sort of visible in back there with his dinner.
Yeah.
I don't think you see that in the game.
I don't know if you do. It could have just been that you could see it more with the widescreen, because
that's true.
the game isn't meant to be played at widescreen, but I record in 1920 by 1080.
Yeah.
This is the scene where Mission talks forever.
Jenks said earlier that he will be the bad guy and complain about this.
Yeah, this Mission talks a lot here. Kevin and I have talked about it,
When
but
Kevin was recording his things, his new lines, he would constantly say, "You talk a lot" to all the characters.
You talk a lot, Bastila. I don't like any of it. This scene sucks. Make it short.
So,
but this scene,
I feel like he'll forgive you for that.
Yeah, this scene is still iconic. Episode 1 to me. Like I wouldn't want to cut it down just because it's a special edition of the movie that came out 10 years ago.
Yeah, you didn't want to remove anything.
No, we made the movie 12 minutes longer.
Do it over in 1080p and make it better where you could.
Add to it, make it 12 minutes longer somehow. Though to be fair, our end credits don't go by at 4,000% speed this time. But yeah, this is where just Mission talks about the Hidden Becks and the Black Vulkars. And
Mission's theme played a bit earlier, but it only appears in this film later on.
Yeah, we never used it in episode
scenes.
2 or 3.
I guess he didn't have enough renditions of it, or there wasn't time. I'm not sure.
I think it's from Gods in General.
I believe that's what he said.
Oh,
Which is also where the Bastila Romance thing comes from in episode 2.
Yep. This is one of the scenes that very early on, like I remade this scene and it still had the original audio. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, we can't have this in the final cut because there's a reaction shot of Logan in the original episode 1. It's somewhere like right where we're talking, where Logan doesn't say anything. Like he just stares at Mission and gives her a face. But you can hear Kev scrolling through the dialogue menu.
Oh.
And you can hear all the clicking, and I was like, Kev.
I do remember some of that, and I get why he had trouble hiding that.
Yeah, it was already too late.
The game always just, there's clicking noise when you scroll through, and there's also a beeping noise every time you click something.
Yeah.
But it cuts to the response immediately after that, so I don't even know how he trimmed out all the ones that he did.
I think he told me once that he would just not touch Logan for like 2 or 3 minutes at a time.
I know that, but when he clicks the response for the beep, it says beep and then it's immediately
I don't know.
line. I don't even know how he trimmed some of that.
I don't know. Did Mission and Zalbar walk away in the game, or did I do that? I don't remember now.
I do not remember, and that is a great failure on our part.
This is where the lady says, you can't come in here. Oh, but actually you can come in here.
Yeah, whatever.
This is probably the first time that I think Logan is a lot more sarcastic.
Yeah, because originally, Mr. Director, the original film director, was just making this to show the film to his friend Greg Snyder, I believe. So he was just sort of playing through it as the game is. It wasn't until later on that he started adding some character to Logan and changing the player responses. Before he was just reading picking one of the game options and reading it.
Like almost all of Logan's lines from the first film were...
Now that Logan's character has been established, when we go back to episode 1, we have to say...
Thank you. That doesn't sound creepy at all.
Right. Most of Logan's lines from the original episode 1 until very late on were just what the player responses are in the game.
So when he went back, he rewrote them all with his little humorous touch.
Hold it right there. Who are you? And what is your business with
My name is Logan, okay? And this is...
She's pointing her gun at them. That's a little...
Oh, yeah, you did add that.
Just a little tiny thing, a little tiny special edition thing.
I also liked his new line. Okay, I'm Logan. Calm down, girl.
Yeah. People can say I'm George for doing small little stuff like that, but I don't think I ever had big giant monsters walk in front of the camera.
Another reason we had to redo the audio is because there was terrible echo here that everybody complained about.
Yeah, I think I gave Kevin... for this for like 9 years.
You gave him Uchini for that.
Yes.
You never started Uchini-ing out.
I gave him Utini for this for about 9 years, and it was bad, especially on Logan's lines. And it's like, well, then if we redo this, it sounds so much better than the rest of the movie.
I know he's trying to create an atmosphere, make it seem different from the game, but this is a giant room. Where would it be echoing from?
I don't know, but it was like if we redo this audio, it sounds way better than the rest of the audio. So
Yeah,
I guess
so
we
we're
have to
gonna
redo
it
all of it.
And for the record, I was supposed to do it all.
Yes.
But a few things we'll talk about later. Took me a bit longer than I expected, and Jenks just wanted to get it done, so we ended up doing, I'd say, more than 2/3 of the thing.
I wanted to get the movie done, released.
So sorry about that, guy.
Because people kept asking where the movie was, and I wanted to move on and start working on Revan.
Yeah, we all want to start working on Revan.
Originally, I was just doing the visuals, and you were going to do the sound design, and the color correction. But it took longer to do certain parts of the movie from your side of things, so...
Yeah.
I did all the sound design for Terrace and Kashyyyk, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did most of Dantooine and the start of Kashyyyk, but you did the swoop.
Yeah. The swoop chase and speeder...
I
yeah,
did
yeah.
the color because... Well, do you want to say that?
Yeah, JC did the color correction for the movie because I am actually colorblind, and I didn't really want to do it because of that.
To be fair to you, that does not cause huge... There's a little one here that we'll mention later.
Yeah.
It does not cause huge problems
No.
in the past, but we thought it might be a good idea.
Yeah, we'll figure we'll play it safe, and I
you
could
didn't really
work.
want to do it anyway.
No, it's not my forte, so I'll leave that to
Yeah.
more talented individuals.
Now, another thing here, this is a little Loganverse issue, is that Logan keeps calling it a pod race because he used pod race footage from Racer Revenge.
Yeah.
But Gaddon is the worst offender, you said.
Yeah, I think
But
so.
I think there are a couple other characters call it a swoop race.
Yep.
Which is called in the game. Our official stance on that is that Logan's an off-worlder, maybe?
Yeah.
He just has a different name for it.
The
Locals call it a
Teresians-
swoop race.
Teresians, I'll call it something else, maybe, or it's a different dialect.
Another little change here is that this is called the Bowels, while the whole lower and undercity from the game is called the Undercity.
Yeah.
And again, there are a couple lower city things, but again, I think that's just... Some call it the lower city, some call it the undercity. Maybe that distinction exists, but the people in the upper city don't know the difference.
Well, they don't want to go to either one. So.
Exactly.
Hurry, Hindar! Hurry! I can hear it coming!
He'll never make it. He's doomed.
This chick is voiced by Ashley Williams from Mass Effect, which really threw me off.
I remember you telling me that. I don't remember her voice, though. I noticed her now that you mentioned it as several characters in the game.
There's a shot in here that I had to recreate perfectly. It's the shot of the Rackle that runs past the gate.
Yeah?
And it's synced to this music track, like its footsteps right here hit on the beat. And I was like, I think I had to slow that shot down in post because I was like, if it doesn't match perfectly,
It's perfect.
Not while the rat ghouls are so near.
You open the gate. I'll worry about the rat ghouls.
Another little thing here is that because you're recording on the PC version instead of the Xbox version, the gate guard's face, I believe, changed, and there's some other examples of that.
He's an old guy in the Xbox
I think it's
version.
because either they didn't have time to add variety, or they may have added new faces on the PC version, so some of them have changed. Now, a Jenks change here is that this guy actually helps out in the fight now.
Yeah, I think he just ran
He's got
around.
a little quarterstaff here, and now he's helping
I think
out.
that guy actually has the quarterstaff in his inventory because I don't remember adding it.
I believe that's just a generic thing that everyone needs a melee weapon if you attack them close
Yeah.
up.
And then he runs away right away.
And that guy could have just opened the gate. They talked longer than the fight lasted.
I just
What's up with that guy, gate guard number 1?
Rackles could probably jump over that thing too, like
Yeah.
like it leaps
They
pretty
look
far.
pretty, like, I don't know what you call it. Limber?
Yeah. Here Mission runs up and asks for help for some dude she talked to earlier.
Yeah. There's a little thing here. I want to mention it because we're going to mention later the swoop accelerator, the prototype accelerator. We have a little story going on, or I had an idea for a little story.
Yeah.
This whole scene there's a story to the scene. There's depth to the scene that we might visit in KOTOR. Heroes of the Old Republic.
Yeah, which is our
When Mission
YouTube
says
mini
that Bex won't
series.
help me. There's something to that there, I think.
Yeah, because Gaddon mentions that she comes back with a prototype swoop accelerator, which,
Yes.
if you've played the game, is a subplot from the game.
Yes, but he didn't want to do all that for the film. Trim it down. So that was removed, but I'm not sure that line got into the final cut of the film.
Oh, great.
I had to have more rat ghouls attack because Logan was killing them too fast
I'm gonna
here.
make fun of Mr. Executive Producer here for a bit. He calls them rat ghouls,
Oh,
not
yeah.
rack ghouls.
He also calls the Leviathan the Leviathan, which he insists is because it sounds
But
cooler.
I'm gonna give him credit here because Logan's an off-worlder, so what does he know about the local species, the fauna?
This is a big change here. We made Logan in the special edition gives Mission a ton of grief for running ahead all the time.
You say he does that to everyone, and I think he
really does.
He's short attention span. As soon as he finds a new one, he's gotta give this new guy trouble.
So this right here, which is they just hit the sewers. This was another scene that I think this was.
This is the original walk and talk.
Yep, this is I think the
I
first
believe
scene
this
you
is the
did, right?
Only, apart from the swoop base, the only full scene in the film here that I actually did do, and this is from 2011.
Oh, right. So you did this one after the Karth apartment scene, right?
I don't remember.
But you gave me
like
your.
I said, you did that for this version.
Yeah, you gave me this.
I
your
sent
files.
Jenks all his files, and I think he might have changed one shot.
I think I just cut it a little differently.
Okay.
Because-
But he just played it, and it played out.
Yeah.
Old JC, past JC's work was saved.
Yeah. This was another scene with really bad echo too.
Oh, was
but
it
yeah.
really that bad? I don't remember.
Oh, it was bad. But yeah, you sent me your files and
Yeah. And
Let it rip.
the reason why he had me do that in the first place is because they're talking. But in the original film and in the game, they just stop and stand.
yeah.
They got things to do. So that's
Especially
why he wanted
the
to make
sewers.
it a walk and talk. Once
Big
he learned
area.
we could do that. I'm not even sure if we had done one before. I had done one for my stuff, I don't remember.
Well, I think the first one we actually did was for the Magfest version of episode 2, right? On Tatooine.
This was before
But
that.
that was this was before that.
This was before that.
So this might have been the very first.
It might be the first of all the KOTOR films. I don't remember. I'll have to check on that.
This scene got changed around quite a bit.
Oh, it did.
Because in the original one, Logan just kind of walks in, and this was the first scene that Kevin kind of got some interesting stuff going with the free camera in an
You know what?
action
I do
scene.
remember now. The terrorist department was first.
Yep.
This is based. Oh no. I
think it
I
was.
don't remember.
But
I remember I didn't do this. This was supposed to be like one scene,
yeah.
and we just go right from the walk and talk to the Rancor, and I was going to finish this off, and it was never finished.
But the Rancor in the game just chills in the background, and I was like, well, they'd see it because the high
You
resolution.
can feed him a grenade to kill him.
With the higher resolution, you can really tell the Rancor's just chilling there, and I was like, oh, what if there's a dead one and he's sleeping next to it?
Oh, that's why you didn't. I didn't know
Yeah.
that story.
And I was like, I think that was actually Ice that gave me
is
that
his
idea.
wife?
Maybe. But like,
The Rancor's wife.
it's like, oh, Logan looks at it and it's like, oh, they're both dead, but one's just sleeping. So it gets up and there's that moment of terror
Yeah.
instead of just the Rancor turning around and saying what's up.
Another thing I think you made more clear here is that they had to run back from whence they came.
Yep. They
And
go
you had the
back
little
through
door
that same.
closed. They were like cowardly little door closing.
That door. Fun fact for a little more technical side of things. The door closing animation in KOTOR is really really fast. So that's actually the door opening animation played in reverse.
And I could fix that for you, but yeah.
It was easier just to make it go backwards. So this is when they fight the Gamorreans
Yeah, I
who have
want to say
Zalbar.
I don't want to hate on the original film, but I feel like this was one of the low points of the original version. The sewer fight was very confusing, and you brought some sense into it, I feel.
So I talked earlier that if there was a cool shot in episode 1, I tried to remake it. This part right here, I pretty much had to refigure out.
I mean, this part had hit points visible.
And it was just
And I
Logan
believe
fighting.
the enemies who were fighting changed. Sometimes it was Gamorrean, sometimes it was rat ghouls, and sometimes it was droids.
And Gamorreans and
We change it to the Gamorreans, we have them running in one direction and then running in another direction. Like, they don't know where they're going. They're trying to figure this out here, just running
Yeah.
and killing Gamorreans.
Kevin even
Big
admits
slaughter day.
that between this and the Undercity, you hit these longer action scenes this early in Terrace, and it just drags the whole movie down. But I think we got through it. It made it
No
interesting
computer
enough.
codes because locks don't exist.
No, in Star Wars, a lock with a key is a foreign concept. Not foreign enough that Mission can't break in, I guess.
These are my new friends, Big Z. Without them, I could never have got you out.
This part in the original film, and this is because of the way the game sets up the cutscene, it was so silly that it got a reference in episode 3 where Logan hasn't washed his clothes since Terrace. Because in the original film, he was standing right under that shower of sewage. We managed to get rid of that here.
Well, I remember Kevin actually texted me when I told him I was working on this scene. He said, "Please don't make Logan stand in the shower of sewage."
Yeah.
But I already had that in mind.
But that's because once the cutscene starts, like, you can't control where your player is.
Right.
So it's just wherever you happen to be when you finish fighting those guys. And I don't blame him for not going back to redo the whole fight for that.
Well, this is the walk and talk where Mission apologizes to Karth.
And it used to be in the upper city.
It was in the upper city, but we tried to make it all like they went from the undercity to bowels.
They don't go to the upper city.
Yeah, they're just going back to the
Again,
Becks.
that's just wherever he happened to trigger it when he was playing the game. But on the PC version, we can move that wherever we want.
Yeah, and the game makes those really hard to trigger, too. Like, there's very specific spots on the map where it can happen and nowhere else. But you'll notice here that there's Mission, there's Karth, Logan, and also Zalbar. And from here on out, you'll see that if someone's in the party, they're almost always in the scene with them, too.
Because in the game, the party is limited to 3 characters at a time, including the player.
And Kevin did a clever workaround on that. He would record the scene twice.
Oh, he went to so much trouble, I can't imagine.
And he would cut in inserts, and
he would save off and in multiple slots, and go back and reload and do the scene all over again with new party members.
So that way, when he would cut to the reaction shots, you'd be like, "Oh, they're there." But in the wides, it was a little confusing.
And I feel like you sell it that they're all there now because they actually are there now.
Yeah, like on this wipe, you see all 4 of them right there.
Yes.
And that was a big thing I wanted. I was like, the whole party's got to be there. And the way that we did
prototype line.
The way that we did that without getting too technical is we basically spawned those people to show up instead of having to be party members.
As non-player characters.
And we have certain functions that we can use to control them, and
yes.
like them all walking towards the camera. That's something that I wrote for that scene to make them all do that. But this is Mr. Director's favorite line right here.
Yes.
Engine into the race.
You tell your little Twi'lek friend not to worry. I'll win that race.
Classic line delivery, as he says.
So Kevin did the Logan lines pretty late in the movie, in the last like month or 2 before we released. And I mean, Kev knows episode 1 very, very well, since he voiced all of Logan's lines for it.
Yes.
And then got used to hearing them over the span of 10
and
years.
spent 10 years of his life working on these films.
Yep. So there's certain lines like that, you tell your little Twi'lek friend not to worry.
I'll win that race.
That Logan has to say the same, because we didn't have any of the original files. And even if we did, Kevin had a cold the first hour of episode 1.
Yeah, that's true. And
so,
we had the echo problems, as we talked about.
Yeah, so there's more than a couple that Kev went back and he hit exactly the same way.
Well, because there was nothing wrong with his original takes. He's going to keep what we can.
And he would always tell me right afterwards, he'd be like, "Oh, classic line delivery."
Yeah.
Classic line delivery.
That was his way of saying he got the job done.
I gotta work on like a super cut of classic line delivery.
Yeah, you gotta do that.
I think right here, this is about where we added. This is right before the speeder, or I'm sorry, the swoop race.
The pod race.
Pod race.
But right here is a little cameo of Canderous Ordo.
I'm someone you don't want to get on the bad side of. And I'm not one for small talk. Mandalorians don't make threats. We make promises.
In the game, you can meet Canderous in a couple different spots, but Kevin didn't have it in the film either because
there
it
just
didn't.
wasn't any room for it.
I don't know if he didn't trigger it, if there wasn't runtime, but we wanted him to show up before his next scene.
So that was some of the unused dialogue there.
Found a little spot to add it in.
That Duros also is the first character so far to call Logan Star.
Yep.
Because, of course, in the game, none of the non-Logan characters say that.
Yep.
Oh, and here's Christina again. She
Yep.
did double duty as Baskel in the prologue and the pod racer announcer here. And this is all new. You were very insistent that we have an announcer at all. He didn't believe we needed one until he saw it done without it.
Kevin didn't want to have it because he was a little worried it would be like too much like Phantom Menace. But,
yeah.
So, just like the original episode 1...
I don't care what universe you're from.
That's gotta hurt. Just like the original episode 1, this pod race is using footage from
Racer Revenge.
Racer Revenge.
Volko Redros takes the lead. The Becks are right behind. like our newcomer Logan Starr is moving up fast.
I recorded it. I actually recorded doing this race like 11 or 12 times.
Yes,
but even still,
you use new tracks and you record it as new pod racers.
Yep.
So we get more out of it.
I did a lot of runs on this track right here. That's how I could get like Atten doing the race and stuff.
And
like
those
that.
little in-cockpit shots were added stuff too. And so that GUI that you saw with the pod race, that was because we could not remove the actual game GUI from Racer Revenge. So I said, don't worry about it. We'll just add it and make it look like it's the dashboard. And it's like the glass, the cockpit GUI.
Yeah. But then we thought we had to add an announcer to kind of smooth the pod race over and give it some tension and add a little bit of humor to it. And I think Christina did a great job.
So inappropriate.
That's a great line.
Great.
Oh boy, looks like things are getting heated between reigning champion Jenks and Logan Starr.
As you may have heard previously on KOTORadio, Kevin Strick, one of the normal hosts, really loved the hit points of the original film.
He thought there was
an innocence and a purity to it, and he requested that we add hit points to the film. We did make an effort. We did add hit points. I put in the GUI little hit points to make it show again. It's the
like Logan
pod race is warning you. There's damage going on here.
Yeah, like Logan hits a wall and there's like a number saying how much damage he got.
Another pod racer, and when what's her name blows up.
I don't remember the pod racer's name.
The Beck blows up. I had lots of damage there. Mr. Director was afraid that if people know the game and they know what the hit points look like, he thought it might look like an error to them.
And this was like the day before we released the movie. He's like, you gotta take it out.
But I feel like if they know the game, they know there aren't hit points. They know this pod race is not in the game. Yeah. If you're just watching the film, there are no hit points in the film, so you don't know that. So I felt like it would have been fine.
Racer Revenge, I ran this on an emulated copy on my computer because I don't own a PS2.
Yes.
I grabbed a PAL copy of the game, which runs at 50 frames per second. I recorded myself doing a race. And then I found out that all my shots went by about 25% faster than they should.
Because your PC was not overheated, console sluggish.
Right,
version.
and so I had to record the game running at like 75% speed.
The game was performing too well, so we had to slow it down, and then
because I was basically running the game in slow-mo, I was doing too well at the racing and had to do...
That was the first complaint. I mean, I was like, it looks good so far, but... Logan's winning right away.
Yep.
You know, you gotta have tension. He can't win immediately.
Yep. I was doing too well because I was playing in slow-mo.
But you did go back and fix that.
I did go back and fix that. That's why I had to do the race like 12 times.
Yes.
Right at the end there, that was Jenks, who we added to the
character Jenks from episode 3.
Yeah, as mentioned in KOTORadio, the character Jenks, the Sulliston, is named after me, but I don't voice him. The super talented Mike Capes voices him.
Mr. Director gave us all namesakes in episode 3.
Yep.
That was yours. You're a damn liar, Jason Marsden.
Yeah. Kev's arch nemesis.
Mm-hmm.
We'll let him talk about that someday.
Yeah, maybe, if he wants to. He told us a funny story about that.
The Sarlacc pit music.
Done.
Yeah. This is where you can see, because now it's running in widescreen, you can see that Bastila is standing in the corner there.
I did notice that, but I think it's fine. Like, nobody's paying attention
nobody's
to her.
paying attention to her anymore.
She's just waiting for her time, waiting for a big moment to come in. When he says something really stupid, nobody can stop me. There we go. I might have something to say about that. Bastila knows how to work the drama.
Her foot doesn't make contact with that Volker either.
It does not.
I should have fixed that.
It's fine, guy.
How could you have possibly summoned the will to free yourself?
You underestimate the strength of a Jedi's mind, Brejik. A mistake you won't live to regret.
Bastila's a bit cold-hearted here.
Yeah, she's just like,
I won't live to regret that.
She's like, I'm just gonna kill you. It's not the Jedi way, but you're gonna die. I guess it's a good time to talk about it as well as any. Bastila in the game, you get her lightsaber after this fight.
That's true.
And
she bends down to pick it up in the film. What is she doing there?
I think she's getting like maybe the
clothes? Maybe
the clothes, or like something to unlock the collar or something.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Keys maybe. But she doesn't get her lightsaber or her Jedi robes because it's a Sith-occupied planet.
Yes, well, there's a reason for the lightsaber, especially. But the robes, we didn't want her wandering around like a Jedi when the Sith are looking for her.
Yeah, it was, I don't know. I wanted to change that, and Kev agreed with me, so we just rolled with it. Logan's got a couple good lines right here.
And as for you, if you think you can collect me as a prize... Wait, I don't believe this. You're one of the soldiers with the Republic fleet, aren't you? Yes, I'm sure of it. How did you end up racing for these swoop gangs?
Well, it turns out being fantastic at pod racing was the only way I could save you.
Save me? Is that what you were trying to accomplish by riding in that swoop race? Well, as far as rescues go, this is a pretty poor example.
This is where Bastila is just being a total uppity character to Logan. Logan doesn't like that
Not
very
giving him
much.
credit for anything.
Brejik and his Volkers would have left you for dead if I hadn't stepped into that fight.
Wait, what? You were a helpless prisoner until I came along.
I may have been a prisoner, but a Jedi is never helpless.
Ooh, sorry, Master Jedi.
Oh, you didn't start that fight. You didn't save me or anything. I could have gotten out at any time. That's why I just chose to get out now.
To be fair, she did escape that cage on her own. And apparently her mind was so powerful that they couldn't contain it.
She should have broken out like a week ago.
Maybe.
This is how it all starts, though. Logan and Bastila right here.
Oh, yeah. Unlikely beginning.
Yeah. I actually remember this was the last thing I filmed on Terrace. Because
really?
I tried to finish, I went down to visit Kevin.
It's the magic of non-linear editing right there.
Yep. I went down to visit Kevin in California to go see Force Awakens with him.
Here's his picking up the key to the collar. We'll call
Yep. Went down to visit Kevin in California, and we wanted to watch Terrace because I was like almost done with it. And for some reason, I put off doing Basil's escape from the Volcars.
Here, Basil's new clothes right now. Why'd you put it off?
I don't remember. I think I just didn't want to do the action scene.
Okay. Jenks and I hate doing action, by the way.
Yeah, that's definitely Ice loves doing that.
He does.
He can do all of it for
I don't know
Revan.
if he does, actually.
He's good at it, though.
Yeah.
Hopefully our escape from Terrace will go more smoothly than when you rescued me from Brejik.
Rescued in quotation marks there.
Yeah. Basil's got new, as JC said, Basil's got new digs.
And did you cut away like I requested with
Yeah,
her?
I did.
I believe they recorded it on a different day, so there's one line that felt really abrupt to me if it was the same camera angle, because her voice completely changes. Or not completely, I mean, it's Jennifer Hale. She's a professional, but the audio quality changes, and he cut away to a little mask that a bit.
This is where they meet Canderous Ordo for
real.
For real. This was, so I locked down like all these scenes based on the original episode 1's audio.
Do I know you? Classic line delivery.
Classic line delivery. So I cut all these scenes based on the original audio, and I didn't get the Logan lines till after I finished. This was the first scene that Kevin kind of made me sweat a bit because he wanted to add to it, and I'd already like filmed all of it. And there's a bad story I won't get into, but I almost.
Did he add anything?
He added Logan has a line here near the end that he added.
Oh, I didn't know that.
He says, Bastila says, I don't want to help him, basically, or I don't want to go with him. And Canderous says, are you objecting because you didn't think of it?
I thought that was in the original film.
No, that's not in the original one.
Really?
Nope.
'Cause that's in the game. I'm probably just remembering the game.
Yeah, I had to add to that. But there was a big scare after I finished filming almost the whole movie where I almost lost all of my data.
Oh,
I don't know if you remember that.
I believe you told me, yeah.
Yeah, like I almost lost all of Dantooine and Terrace. Like I came home to my computer one day and fired it up, and that footage was gone because of like a hard drive failure. I eventually got it all back, but I actually never got back some of the Terrace footage. I had to use a render I made, which thank goodness I did that. This scene was a little tricky to add to because I didn't have that original source anymore. So Kevin made me sweat a little bit when he's like, "Can we make this scene longer?"
You got another plan, sister? Or are you just objecting because you didn't think of it?
I'm gonna guess the second thing you just said there.
I'm guessing that's the second thing you just said there.
Ah.
Not in the original.
I just thought there was a different Logan line before.
We're making Logan nice and funny this time around.
Now, another little Loganverse difference here is that the Sith base isn't here.
Nope, the Sith base is not here.
In the game, you have to go to the Sith base to steal these launch codes so the Sith don't blow you up when you leave the planet. But to speed things along, Mr. Original Film Director trimmed that all out. We go right to Davik's estate after this intermission with the Sith.
This is the first time we see the Leviathan and Malik and them.
But you will not see this in the game.
Nope, you did this scene.
This was kind of my obsession. In the game, they had in the I don't know how to explain this without going core file, but this is a game, right? And then there are these pre-rendered videos that they did in 3ds Max with visual effects.
They're like pre-rendered cinematics, and they're
for all the space stuff for the most part.
They're like an 16th of the resolution we look at.
That was one reason, but the planet Terrace looks different in some of these things. I think they use 2 different models,
and it looks weird
wanted
too.
To be consistent, so I tried to make a compromise, but we replaced a lot of these pre-rendered videos.
Yep, we did all new CGI and 1080p.
And I'm sorry to talk over it, but this is another big change. You wanted to have Varko here instead of Kareth because you felt Kareth was out of character.
Yeah, that was actually one of the first things I wanted to change about the episode 1. Kareth is a dude that killed all of Karth's family and billions more on Telos, right?
Telos, and he gloats about it later.
In episode 2, he says even the innocent must die in war.
But in episode 1, he's like, "Oh, but we killed millions of people."
That's not Kareth,
so... He wanted to get rid of that, so...
Plus
we had Varko, who... He is in the game, but he becomes more important in episode 3 in the Loganverse.
Yep, so we figure might as well...
He's in episode 1 now.
Yep.
And we're just on a roll here with changes.
Yep. This is Davik's base here. You'll see that the whole party is here instead of just
but I'm talking about
3
the
of them.
big one here.
Davik's hanging out in his chair.
Yeah, he doesn't do that in the game. The chair is there in the game. The throne is in the game.
The chair is there in the game, but you actually can't even...
Purple throne is there in the game.
Yeah, you can't even sit on it or go that close to it. The walk mesh doesn't go that far.
No, but he doesn't sit there. He stands around because every cutscene is just standing around.
Yep.
But he wanted to have him sitting up there.
I thought it would be cool.
Yeah, and I'd already done some stuff for that. Episode 6, part 2.
Yep.
So, and that was going on at the same time. So,
yeah.
Helped you out with that, and we got him in the chair.
Yeah.
You can do it on your own now because you've learned everything now.
Yeah, back then you had to help me put Davik on the chair. And like JC said, while I was working on this, Iceman was working on his last KOTOR 2 movie.
And you were helping him with that, too.
Yeah. I thought it was kind of nice. KOTOR fans got like a double release this year, but it'll be nice to work on a team.
I like the point where you had him get off the chair and walk.
Yeah, I thought that was fun. You can see his feet clip through the floor a little bit, but I don't know if anyone notices that except me. Now everyone's going to notice because I said so. This is the, Davik says, hang out in this tiny room for like 2 days while I check your background out.
Yeah.
Which is weird. It's a video game thing.
Yeah, there's no bathroom in there. Oh, he says you can go down to the slave quarters. Is there a bathroom in the slave quarters?
There's no bathrooms anywhere.
Bathrooms in Star Wars.
No, or Star Trek for that matter.
Yeah.
But yeah, the whole party's here. This is where it got a little more chaotic because there's like 6 of them now.
Oh, and this was the actual plot point.
Yeah.
Because Karth was supposed to be there. It's in the game. They say Karth was there, but you can't really have him there in the game. You can't have both Bastila and Karth there at the same time because you have to have Canderous with you.
And and Canderous has a line in the original one where he says, like after you steal the Amon Hawk, he's like, "Oh, let's go get Karth and the others" or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's like implied they're somewhere else on Terrace and you go get them. But the cinematic doesn't show that.
They're like Logan's entourage.
Yeah. This is where Bastila talks about the Force. This scene originally didn't have music, but I added it in because I wanted to have that version of the Force theme we never used.
Tales of Jedi Knight.
Yep. And you can hear just a little bit of Logan's theme from episode 2 in here.
Oh, yes. From Starship Troopers. Is that in episode 3? I don't think it is. I don't remember. I don't believe so, though.
He's not.
Although, if it is, Kevin will be back saying, "Thanks for being a fan."
Yes. So this is another scene, like we talked about earlier. We tried to make all the new scenes in episode 1 dynamic, so that it wasn't just people standing around. So the scene opens. They're all walking through Davik's base. They don't care about the rules, obviously. This is the classic episode 1 Davik's music bit.
Oh yes, it's music.
Yeah, nice music.
Ephemeral Fantasia.
Yeah.
And you remember you told me earlier that what Kevin said previously on KOTORadio that we would never let him do it today.
We probably wouldn't.
Said, yeah, I would. No, I never would.
If he came to me now and was like, I want to have Davik play music over the loudspeakers, I don't know.
You had to rethink about that. You're like, I would not.
I don't know if I would, if I'd agree with that, but Bastila turns away from Canderous.
I noticed that. Again, in the game, they just stare at each other.
They just stare at each other and have an argument. Just doing the normal animations.
That movement is, and this is just special edition. That movement.
We try to do that in all the movies.
Episode 2, episode 3.
Yeah, we try to make the conversations feel as real as we can with the game.
So, I guess that means I'm not going to get an answer about the music, huh?
And then we cut to Logan, who's like, "What's the deal about the music for real?"
Yeah.
Let's check this door out.
Now we'll see what the benefit here of Bastila not having a saber.
We get to see her do force pushes.
She kicks some Trandoshan butt here.
Yeah, she just kicks people in the face and does force pushes.
And Trandoshans are not even in there before. That was something you added. Why did you add that? It was just droids.
Well,
in the original film and in the game.
Well, now there's like 6 party members here, right? There's only 2 droids.
More guys, and it would look funny if they're all droid. Why do you need so many droids?
I think I tried it without, and like Zalbar and Bastila have no weapons there.
Yeah.
So they immediately rush the security droids, and then you have Logan, Karth, Canderous, and Mission all shooting.
Oh, so you just need variety.
It's like it can get over real fast. But
I understand.
Those 2 Trandoshans in that scene are protecting Davik in the throne room earlier.
Okay.
They're in the background. I don't know if they're that visible.
Are they in the game, or did you add that for them?
One of them is in the game.
I know you fight them and you fight Rhodians and stuff.
One's in the area outside this in the game.
Oh, so you're sticking with the game canon.
I guess. You get the security card off his body, I think.
This guy just keeps talking. He does not give you a word in.
Well, he deserves it. Or maybe he deserved to get it. I mean, Logan makes fun of him.
He's been tortured, and Logan said the music's worse than that guy.
He has a line we all make fun of.
You think it's over. He just keeps saying things.
He has a line we all make fun of. Like, they're talking about
thousands.
They're talking about stealing the ship, and it's like, oh, the ship's only worth a couple thousand. Nah, I don't know about that, but
yeah. Well, we don't know how money works in Star Wars.
Here's our second Leviathan scene. This
one
shot
you did.
here.
Was
I did this one.
The first one you did?
It's the first one I did in this movie, but not the first one I actually did chronologically.
That's right. I keep mixing that up.
That's not a shot from the game. I made that in 3ds Max because
it looks very nice.
Because I didn't want just one ship.
And here's Varko again.
He talks about positioning the fleet, right? Show a fleet.
Well, no, he did earlier.
Yeah.
But now
that's why I did that. Now the fleet's in position.
Begun. They bombed the other half of the planet or something.
Malik's like, hey, don't finish.
It doesn't make sense. The order doesn't make sense in the game.
No, Malik's like, why did you stop?
Done.
Malik's like,
party's still alive.
Yeah, maybe they didn't hit Davik's base yet or something.
Well,
I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. They bombed the other side of the planet, maybe.
I want to know where.
Now they're bombing the whole planet.
I want to know where Callow and Davik are running from in that. They like come running from the corner, but there's nothing there. I
wonder why you hate his line here so much.
He says, "Sorry, but that ain't gonna happen." And
but I feel like it's exactly what they wanted. That's how they wanted his character to be a hammy gangster. You just don't know. You just don't.
There's a weird story about that. I lived with a roommate almost the entire time I made this movie.
He told me he hated it more than you.
Yeah, and he would like walk past my room while I was working on this scene, and for months after, he would just like run into me like in our like living room, and he'd just go, "Sorry, but that ain't gonna happen." So I heard him say that line.
Only in the Loganverse.
I heard him say that line like for like 6 or 7 months before he finally gave up on it. It was so annoying though.
So I guess that is why you hate it.
Yeah, Davik gets crushed by the ceiling. They're running through the Ebon Hawk. That's a new one I did.
That's a new thing. Because in the game you couldn't do that yet.
No.
You just had them running through the thing, but it's not a huge room. You wanted to give them more.
Yeah, you can see where the Hawk is. Plus, we get to see the inside of the Hawk before they.
Get to see, more the action here.
This is
Destruction of Terrace with the classic soundtrack delivery.
Yeah. So, should we talk about the music of Episode 1, or?
That's what I'm talking about.
We had to.
Starship Troopers.
We mentioned we had to match all the audio for Episode 1.
Oh, that's what you want to talk about.
It's worth mentioning that we had to rematch all the music too.
Yes.
And I would ask.
The reason for that is because this was 10 years ago. Kevin did not have all his.
He doesn't have any of his stuff.
He probably edited it in Final Cut Pro and didn't make separate tracks for it.
I don't think he had the space for it.
Yeah.
So we had to figure out exactly what track he used, for how long, what time codes, and then remake it.
Edit it all together and exactly as he did.
We split working on that, and it was a pain in the utini.
Yes. And again, you did more of that than I did. Although it went back and forth who was in charge of that.
No, it was either way.
Once
It was
I did it,
terrible.
I didn't want to do any more of it.
This is the Sith fighter attack, which in the original episode 1 was all just turret shots, and a couple pre-made cinematics. But
and he took every single one he could find from the game.
Yeah, and
add to it.
Some were flipped and reversed and stuff to make it look like. But
this is all brand new, and I was really going to do this, and I was willing to do it, but because you wanted to learn it again.
Because JC did
the new animator.
Yeah, JC did the sweet epic space battle that opens episode 3.
Malachor, Mustafar.
Yep.
Aero Squadron. I did it in my living room, as I always say.
But I wanted to be able to do that as well, so I was like, I'll do the Sith fighter attack.
I think I wanted you to do it more than you wanted to do it.
I don't know if I enjoyed doing it, but I did it.
All those lasers.
Yeah, and it just flies by.
Here, this shot. You did this as a surprise for Mr. Director Kevin.
Yeah, he didn't know. So I mentioned earlier in the commentary, I went down to California to see Force Awakens with him. I cut a trailer. It's on our YouTube channel. It's like that Force Awakens style trailer.
Yeah, and you had us all pitch in to help you out. I did the hyperspace visual.
Yeah.
And what did I do for that?
He helped me sort out the dialogue.
Oh, the dialogue, that's right.
But that shot where it goes from the stars to hyperspace and then you see the ship, it's supposed to be like this shot.
That was such a great shot in the trailer, and it wasn't in the Force Awakens.
Yeah.
Now it's in the Loganverse.
Now it's in the Loganverse. We took it for ourselves.
Oh yeah.
But I wanted that to match the Force Awakens trailer. And oh man, Kevin was, he loved that.
He was so surprised too.
Yeah.
And as a consequence of that, we now had to be in hyperspace for this scene. Hyperspace isn't in KOTOR 1.
No, it's not. And what's funny is I actually had to film this scene twice because of that.
You forgot it.
Yeah, I forgot to put it in hyperspace, so it's not the only scene I've shot more than one time. But
me neither.
It happens. It's part of being the animator, I guess. This scene got moved around too, partially because in the Xbox version, if you're in the Ebon Hawk, the crew goes to a certain spot in the Ebon Hawk, and they don't move. They can, like, the party has to be.
Mission hangs out in the bedroom the entire time.
She won't move from that no matter what, unless it's like some of the cutscene stuff with the Leviathan.
Right.
That's a weird spot to have the convo, so.
Yeah, considering she's 14 years old.
So I moved it in the main hold and had her look at a hologram of Terrace, which I thought was a cool little addition.
Yeah, she's grieving over her loss.
I did that in
That's what they said, after all.
I did that in 3ds Max and After Effects.
Mm-hmm.
I could have just put it in the game, but I made it hard on myself for some reason.
Yeah. I did offer to do that, because there's a hologram thing in KOTOR too.
Well, I don't know. It was only one shot, I guess. But.
Yeah, well, you said you wanted to add Sith ships on it, and
I did, but then they either looked so big it was cartoonish, or
I feel like
so
you should
small.
be looking at it like it was not destroyed anyway.
We'll sell
Remembering how it looked.
This is the new arrival at Dantooine. It's supposed to kind of match Tatooine from Episode 2 and Korriban from Episode 3.
That was the Loganverse tradition, but we didn't have it in the first film because it's not in the game. And
right. The game
was only working on his Xbox back then.
The game just shows you from space coming at it and then landing.
Yes. This was another thing where I had started it for the 2011 special edition, but we never went anywhere, and Jenks did it from scratch.
Yeah. Bastila says she's already talked to the Jedi Council. I don't know how. Space telephone, maybe.
Yes, that's what I always say. She phoned them.
She phoned the council and was like, "Hey, this guy is crazy. We got to get out of here." But yeah, that was entirely new arrival on Dantooine. You saw it in the shot before. You'll see it in the shot coming up. The little goat thing. Those are unused in the game.
Goats in my version too.
Those were unused in the game.
The goats.
Yes.
They do appear in the game. There's one as a trophy in Cal Nordstrom.
Yeah, but you can't find them on Dantooine.
No, you're supposed to.
They
made all animations and stuff for them. They just didn't put them in the game.
These shots here, like with the kids running past and the camera pushes in on all this life and activity, is really supposed to bring home that, like, this is the Jedi Enclave that we're going to be around for 2 movies. It's also a little sad. You don't know it yet if this is your first time watching. Like we told you earlier, this is a spoiler commentary. But these shots are supposed to mirror the shots from the end of Episode 2 after Malak destroys the place.
And as you said, that goat will die.
I'm going to kill that goat for the episode 2 special edition.
Now, this is the first entirely new scene, you said.
Yep. I wrote this scene, actually, just using some banter that hadn't been used before.
And then Mr. Director came in with his little humor for the Logan lines.
Yep, and help
I
bring it to
remember
life.
there was one line here where he was asking us for advice. And we were joking around, and then he actually rewrote it to be in the film.
Yes, the Caden's line here. And this is the first we see of Caden chronologically.
Yes, we were supposed to release episode 1 special edition before episode 3, so we would be introduced to Caden, and I believe there were some other reasons for it.
Yeah.
But so now we get to see him finally.
Because in episode...
This is a line here. Say a bunch of stuff about the Force. That line.
Because in
we're
episode...
all just joking around, but it made it in the film.
Yep. In episode 3, Logan acts like he already knows who Caden is.
That's true.
And it's like, oh, who is this guy?
And he had all these ideas planned.
Yeah.
We're going to see Caden later walks them to the ruins.
Yeah. And Caden's definitely going to be a big part of the Heroes of the Old Republic miniseries.
Oh, yes. As one fan pointed out, Caden has other business to attend to.
He does. I know what that other business is, but that is not a spoiler I'm going to get into. Mm-hmm. There's our Jedi Council scene.
We get a Loganverse edition, and we get a Jenks version edition.
Yes.
Atris was originally in here. She's a master from KOTOR too, and Mr. Director just wanted to have her in the film for some reason. He put Atten in earlier too.
I don't know why he put Atris in this.
So he gave her 1 or 2 lines and just had her in there.
He just composited her.
Yeah, because he couldn't actually have her in the game because she's not in the first game. But now Verdo from episode 3, friend of the show, Chad Williams.
Yep. He
hosted us at MagFest.
He reprised his role. He's got some funny bloopers I plan on animating.
I haven't heard them yet. I want to hear them.
Oh, they're good.
Josh had some great ones for Caden too.
Josh breeding as Caden is always great. But yeah, we figured, well, Atris was in the original. She only had like 1 or 2 lines in the original. We gave her a couple more this time.
Yeah, I think we didn't use the...
I don't think we even used the original one.
No, it changed it up.
Ice helped me pick those out, actually. She's not wearing her white robe. She's wearing some brown ones.
Oh, right, to match with the Mitraverse.
Oh, yeah, now that we're the same continuity.
Yes.
We're trying to make continuity work.
I wasn't really sold on his reason for that, but you explained it, and...
Oh, it's because
like
she doesn't wear white till after KOTOR, right?
Yeah.
It's like a morning thing.
Yeah.
And she hides out in the snow, so maybe it's like a camouflage thing.
Like she's a different person now.
Yeah.
And also, I feel like she's wearing white, so she's being super pure, good person as she's being corrupted to the dark side. Yeah. That's an interesting change there.
I can find a way to justify some of this stuff sometimes. Bastil's still not wearing her Jedi robes yet.
Oh yeah, because they just got right out the ship.
Yeah,
she just phoned them, as we said before. Logan's sleeping now, so something's happening.
I mentioned that I reshot some scenes more than a couple times. This was one of them because I really didn't like the pre-rendered cinematic. You can look it up on YouTube and you can tell.
I hated it.
It's really low res.
But there's a mistake in there that drives me crazy.
And they walk in place.
Revan and Malik were walking in place for part of it.
The dark side is strong in this place. I can feel its power.
What's funny is I planned on remaking this just with animations from the game.
Yeah.
And there's a version of it out there where I did that.
Yeah, I saw it.
And we were working on some stuff actually for Nights in the Darkness Part 2, Ice's movie. I was helping him come up with an animation for Revan taking the mask off.
Yes.
And we got into working with these animations.
They're called cutscene animations of the game. Anytime that they needed more detailed things with lots of characters interacting, instead of using the standing still talking at each other, they made custom animations called cutscene animations.
Or for things that only happen once in the game, like the training montage.
Yeah, that don't have to be reused.
So I'm digging through the game trying to find some of these, because my plan was to see what we could use for Revan, honestly.
Yes, but that scene is not in the game, right?
No, it's a pre-rendered cutscene.
Video.
But the files for it are still in the game.
Why are they there?
I do not know why they are there.
We don't know why they're there. We're grateful that they're there.
Yes, because they're perfect. Malik does his hand gestures as he says, "I can feel its power," just like the pre-rendered cinematic.
Yes. Mr. Director really wanted that.
He was sad to see it go the first time, and then he was so excited to see it back.
And we forgot to mention the new Malik voice.
There's a new Malik voice.
Eric did a great job with that.
Yeah,
Eric. He's going to reprise his role in the prequels.
Eric Von Domi. We know we're making prequels. We know certain things about them. So there's some stuff we changed in episode 1 solely to match the prequels.
I wouldn't say it was solely, because since that's a pre-rendered video,
yeah, we didn't.
The audio for Malik is not. We could have done it in the original film. He did keep it, but there's music and stuff in the background.
It's a little rough.
Since we have Eric, and since we're revoicing Malik.
Yep. But that dream... well, we'll talk about it more after Kashyyyk, but there's a bit there where it is solely because of the Revan. Yeah. But we had Revan in mind, making some of this. Tiny little things.
The way of the light is long and difficult, as you must learn. Perhaps our hope lies in the dream you and Bastilla shared.
They're talking like
you and Bastilla.
Ed
Asner kind of flubbed it there.
I wish there was some way we could fix that.
I don't know. He's an old guy. She's nobody to him.
And there's no way we could have gotten Ed Asner back in the studio. Hey.
Maybe go see him at Comic-Con.
You say Bastilla right? You didn't 13, 14 years ago.
Does he even remember who Bastilla is?
Probably not. Ed Asner.
He's voiced so many things over the years.
Yeah. He's probably like...
He was Granny Goodness in Superman the Animated Series. I remember him fondly from that.
I remember he was in Up, if you saw that.
I don't think I did.
Pixar movie. This is where they say, let's train Logan, and he just kind of stares awkwardly at them.
he's thinking about, me become a Jedi? I mean, am I going to have to give up making fun of people and flirting with girls?
Nah, it doesn't stop him.
It doesn't stop him?
This is the training montage.
And this... we both wanted to replace. Once I told you about it, you just wanted to get rid of it.
Yeah. In the game, you fight Bastila with a sword to train yourself to use a lightsaber, I guess.
And she beats you up.
Yep. And then you beat her up, which is the same animation. It's just flipped who's on the right side.
Yeah. So they use the same animation. I can't criticize them for this, but...
It's a little lazy.
Yeah. And we did not want to do that. It drives us crazy. Once you see it, it will drive you crazy.
But I definitely wanted to expand the training montage. I wanted it to be like in multiple places.
Yeah, so I wanted that to be
outdoors.
Because that cutscene animation was... We could move it, but it was specific to that location.
Right now, they're in the crystal caves, like getting the crystals for their lightsabers. I don't think anyone's noticed, but you can see a green crystal formation and a yellow crystal. We see Logan build the lightsaber.
In KOTOR 2, the sub-level.
Yeah, the sub-level.
And now they're on the roof. You really went around with this. They're on the...
Yeah, they're all over.
Not rooftops, the plateau here.
Yeah, which is not an area you can normally get to in the game.
And we changed it to be night.
Yep.
You originally did this as day.
Yeah, if you look in the trailers, you can actually see the scene plays out in day originally.
But Mr. Original Film Director just said, what if it's night?
He had a sweet idea that the camera would pan up and you'd see only the color of the lightsabers.
I do like that.
And it turned out awesome. And that's supposed to be a little bit of a twist there is Bastila fights with the one saber.
And
then it cuts to the next sequence and she pulls out the second one, but Logan can still match her.
It's another benefit of not having one on Terrace.
And it's supposed to be like a cool little reveal that she has a double blade, not a single.
And that was the same animation that she does in episode 3.
Yep, there's a couple call forwards there. Logan says,
on the blades.
I hope we never have to do this for real, but
oh yeah,
they end up having to do it for real.
Here's the classic sunset scene, which is revisited in episode 2.
Yep. I actually used, I think I used one of your cameras from episode 2 in this. I don't remember.
Really?
I might have. You sent me them.
From the MagFest cut.
From the MagFest
I didn't
cut.
do it in the original episode 2.
No, the original episode 2 was all Xbox.
I remember I sent you a ton of stuff, but I forgot what I sent you. I didn't know that.
I don't know if I ended up using them. I consulted them for reference, though, because I wanted it to look like episode 2, which of course is supposed to look
yours when we get there now.
1. Well, at that time I didn't know I'd be conned into working on episode 2.
Oh, that's true.
If Mr. Director's listening to this, yeah, he convinced me to do that, but I'm still going to give him grief.
This is the only time we hear Bastila's theme from the game in the Loganverse.
I think it's in episode 2 as well.
When is it in episode 2?
The sunset scene.
I thought...
Because that Rio made it on the piano.
Oh, but did he use Bastila's theme? I thought he did the Gods and Generals for that.
I don't remember.
We'll find out when we do the episode 2 commentary.
Yeah. Mr. Director will get on us for not knowing it.
Here's another new scene after we see this nice little flying stingray.
That's the weirdest alien.
Star Wars.
Yeah, this was another scene that I think I wanted to add this
It
because
felt like the party disappeared.
Yeah, I mean, Canderous and Karth and Mission and Zalbar have nothing to do while they train as a Jedi.
I believe we did talk about having something to do long ago.
And in the original cut, Logan and Bastila go to the ruins alone.
Yes.
And the party doesn't show up till after they find the star map.
I believe that connection was all your idea.
And I was like, they gotta have something to do.
Originally, we were just gonna cut back on the ship or something.
I was like, why don't they go with? And they get separated or something.
Yeah, nice touch. And now we get to talk about Revan.
Yeah, which is something that one of us wanted to do a long time ago. Vatican. He wanted to have a talk about Revan instead of the speeder bike chase.
I didn't know that part.
Yeah, he didn't. He wanted us to cut the speeder bike chase.
I want to mention here, the dialogue they used for the scene is in the extended edition of episode 2. Karth and Bastila fight about Revan.
Yep.
I really liked it there, but now we can't use it there.
That's a.
I'm not hating on your scene here, but
that's a problem for future us, I think.
That's true.
But it's nice to have Kate in here too. Like,
you're sounding like a Jedi already. You've spent too much time around Bastila.
He gives a new perspective to things.
Caden's kind of like their escort as they walk through hours of nothingness. By the way,
now we get back to the original dialogue from the original film here.
By the way, Dantooine kind of looks like where I live, guy.
Yeah.
What's going on down there?
They should either film in the Midwest or like in Scotland or something. If they would do a live-action Dantooine.
Oh, they could do it in the Midwest and just have to cut down on the corn.
Take my wife and children instead. Anything.
This Mandalorian shoots 4 times.
And that guy kind of deserved it. Take my wife and children instead.
This is
I know you said he shot several times. I tried to make it seem like when I did the audio, like he just pulled the trigger and it's just firing away. He's not aiming.
This was the first action scene that I started doing a lot of control and scripting for.
The .core stuff. Well, you did script some before, but I think this is the first entirely scripted one, where all those force jumps and knocking down right here with Bastila, all that stuff. I mean, some of it could happen in the game, but it would be very hard to plan that if you're doing it.
And like Logan throwing the lightsaber right there.
PC. It would be very hard to plan that, but you did it with all the game's programming language.
Yep. And like Logan throwing the lightsaber right there, I told Logan, hey, do this command, throw the lightsaber at this guy, and when it hits, kill him.
Yep.
This
Here's
is
a little new dialogue. The banter there before the great swoop chase, which took me 6 months to make.
This is JC's main contribution to the movie, by the way.
Every day, they would yell swoops at me, and Jenks sent me a little picture of Bastila saying, do the swoop chase, JC. It got me motivated, but what happened here is that I did about, I'd say more than half of it.
Yeah.
And you guys thought it looked good.
Yeah.
I was having real trouble with it, and I was not satisfied with a lot of it. I had no idea how to do the rest of it. So I just needed a break to think about it, and I started working on other things. I did some of the music editing and color and stuff.
Yep.
And then you guys didn't know what I was doing for a long time.
No.
You thought I was just sitting back here.
Well, I think you kind of got inspired by what we were doing, helping out Ice, which we mentioned earlier with the cutscene animations.
It gave me some ideas about how things work in the game. I eventually learned that you can I learned how to make the swoop bikes as cutscene animations. So this is all in the game. None of it's composited. When the original stuff I had the swoop bike just against a blue screen and composited. That's how you would do it in a live action film.
Yeah.
But in the new stuff, it's all in the game. And then I learned we can do cameras with that too.
Yeah.
And just completely change things. It took me a few months to set that up. And then we spent a whole week troubleshooting. Jenks took time off work to do this.
Yeah, I did.
And we troubleshooted it, and then I did the other half and actually replaced all but, I think, 6 shots that I had done.
Yeah. This was uncharted territory. Like, no KOTOR modders had tried this before.
I've talked over something here that we had planned, but you added Karth to the ruins there.
I did. He had some dialogue that was cut from the game that I thought would be cool to restore there.
And here's another edition, a Loganverse edition. The Revan theme.
The Revan theme from episode 3.
From Iron Man. Well, no, as Mr. Director says, it's from episode 3, The Circle of Fate.
Yep. But yeah, the swoop bike chase, it turned out to be one of my favorite parts.
Well, thank you, sir.
And it taught us some really good stuff for Revan. So expect some of that goodness in the future.
Oh, you don't even know yet. Well, you know, because you've seen how it works now.
Well, I know, but
you audience members, you don't even know yet.
It's gonna be some good stuff. But
it's gonna be great, as Jenks always says.
It's gonna be great. But yeah, short story short, new animations in 3DS forced in the game, and then they play out.
And cameras too. The old way was very difficult, and I don't want to get into a rant about that, but the new way is much better, let's just say.
Do you think this Starforge is a factory of some sort?
So now we're in the ruins. I really like this shot, but the overhead going down
Overhead rotating shot.
Yeah, a frequent request by Mr. Director when we animate stuff for this, but this was another scene that I think is a good example. We just try to make it more dynamic. In the game, you go up to the robot, I think you go through the door, but whatever, you start talking to it, and you stand completely still while you talk to it. But Revan, Logan, and...
See, he just spoiled it now by accident, because we know it. We can't help but say it. And we get messed up saying Logan when we're talking about the prequel Revan.
Yeah.
We're really messing up Revan and Logan all the time.
Logan and Bastila walk through the door while the robot's talking at them. Logan turns around here to look at Nemo's body.
And you changed Nemo's background here a bit.
Yeah.
Made it more like the original game.
Yeah.
In the first version of the film,
it's implied that he fought Revan.
Yes, Revan killed him to prove himself, and you didn't like that?
Well, his corpse would have decomposed.
Yeah, that's a good point. But now the council sent him ahead of time to check it out.
Well,
and
Caden
mentioned it earlier.
I wanted Caden to mention that,
so that it all connects now.
And also, it's weird that the council wouldn't send someone to check it out.
Yeah, that's true.
Bastila has a line there. She says that the council sent Master Nemo to investigate, but it cost him his life.
Oh, but that wasn't in the original film.
Yeah. This is also a new part to the ruins. They walk up and Bastila opens the door exactly.
Same animation.
Yeah, because I figured out how to rip that animation out of the game. I was like, I can just have Bastila do the exact same movement that Revan does.
That's actually my theory why that was in the game, because there's a bit of content where they make you figure out how to open that door with the Force that was removed from the game. That's my theory for why the Revan and Malak thing is there.
I don't know.
Because the plan was you had to re-experience the vision to learn how to open the door.
Oh, maybe.
Maybe.
I don't know if anyone's...
It's a huge mystery still.
I don't know if anyone's picked up on it. Bastila opens the door like Revan, but they walk towards the star map in the exact same spots and position as...
Speaking of similarities, since we're already spoiled, I tried to do a little thing here that I never expected anyone to notice. Logan's footstep sounds are the same as Revan's footstep sounds, and we try to make every character have different sounds so it doesn't repetitive.
Yeah.
But I gave him the same sounds because it's the same feet. And no, I did not expect any of you to notice that.
That's another little dynamic thing is Bastila walks up to the map and she says like, "Oh, this world here is Korriban." She points in the star map.
Gave me it caused me a lot of grief about that because I do the footsteps. She wouldn't stand still.
No, Bastila moves around a lot in this scene.
But you did it to yourself later on, so much more.
So to clarify, when we made this, I didn't take any of the audio from the game. It was all done in post. Every footstep, every saber swing, every blaster.
When Ice and I have done our stuff, if we knew we did not want to do this, we would be lazy. We would record some of that. But you hadn't done this before. You just weren't thinking of that. And the proper way to do it is to not record any audio and do new audio.
It turned out well.
It did turn out well, and I'm glad we did it, but it was a pain to do.
Yeah. That's a classic wipe there as it hits the obelisk.
And again, the whole party is here.
Yep, I just spawned them all and had the dialogue scene play out, and I'd have them hit the beats that I wanted.
Now you have a theory here as to why Verdo and Atris are not here.
Yeah, since we've already done spoilers, you actually see that Verdo and Atris aren't in the second council meeting because we wanted to make it a little more like personal. They're talking about the dream and stuff. Verdo's a stellar guy. He's a cool Jedi Master.
Yeah, we don't want to make Chad's character a bad guy.
Yeah, so the theory behind it is that Verdo and Atris aren't comfortable with this whole plan to retrain Revan as a Jedi.
For different reasons, though.
Yeah, Verdo's like, I don't want to do that to Logan. That seems mean. But Atris is just stuck up and doesn't trust Revan.
I mean, she wanted to have the exile Mitra imprisoned or worse, is what the player says in the game. So you can only imagine what she wanted to do to Revan.
Right. Because, I mean, they all know he's Revan. Kind of makes it all messed up, but...
So I think they stopped by to like see what you guys are doing here.
Yeah.
Are you really gonna do this? Are we
Yeah,
gonna have
but
to
they're
intervene and stop you guys.
They're not okay with it, I don't think.
And that's been my theory for a while, that only these 4 guys were responsible for this whole thing.
Yeah.
I don't feel like the Masters in KOTOR 2 would get behind it. Like you said, for Atris, she would just want to cut Revan's head off, knock him off.
Well.
And the other guys, I don't think they would go along with it, especially Master Vash. She's such a nice person.
Yeah. Atris, she wants to cut everyone's head off, though.
Off with their heads.
Yeah. So now Vandar's telling them they all have to go off, and
they don't have a choice. Part of you has to go with them.
Those who aided you on Terrace have no choice. They have to come.
They're not Jedi, so they have no free will.
They are your NPCs.
This is a little Mr. Director edition to have Zalbar explaining Kashyyyk, because
yep.
we don't need a voice for Zalbar, so he can say whatever we want him to say.
I think in the original, all I did was just have Logan talk to Zalbar here, and he just re-subtitled it with whatever it was.
Yep.
It's a nice way to...
you can talk to the party wherever you want, as long as it's not on the Ebon Hawk.
Yeah. And it's a good way to kind of wrap up Zalbar's whole story in one movie.
Yeah.
And I like having Kashyyyk in this movie.
It's interesting, though, because he didn't plan to have Kashyyyk originally. It was going to be Tatooine.
It's gonna be
I wonder what he
Tatooine.
would have done to link it together.
I don't know. This was a really late ad.
Oh, this is, again, actually, I believe I did this before this. Oh, you did the scene. I set up the Ebon Hawk for you, but that was sort of my test for the new methods to have the vehicles in the game.
Yep. So instead of using the pre-rendered cinematic, the Ebon Hawk, like if you were to watch me play the game right there, the Ebon Hawk actually takes off and leaves Dantooine in the game.
I've posted some clips on my own channel. I'm going to be doing some behind the scenes for the Loganverse on the road to Revan, so you'll see how that works if you tune in for that.
But it was
that was
cool.
also an entirely new scene for the film, to have Kaden and some unused Rook dialogue there.
And you can see a lot of the strike team in the background. And now we're at the scene where Malik meets Callow, the tallest guy in the movie meets the shortest guy in the movie.
And the new introduction of
to Kareth. Since Kareth wasn't on Terrace, maybe he was doing something else. Maybe a KOTOR episode of something.
Maybe. We say that about everything, though.
We do say
Don't
that
take
about
us seriously for everything. Now, I want to say, I'm conflicted on... I do like what you did here with Varko and stuff, and I'm totally behind you with his reasons, or your reasons, but I'm conflicted because Kareth has so little dialogue in the game that it hurts me to lose it.
Yeah.
But I'm behind you.
We always joke. I
understand the difficulty of the decision.
We always joke this scene should be in episode 2, and Saul Kara should be like the episode 2 bad guy.
Well, not this scene. The next scene.
Both the scenes should be in episode 2, he thought.
Callow?
Yeah, well, I don't know how he's going to work it, but he didn't want Kareth to be in episode 1 at all.
I didn't know that part.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But Saul's here. We didn't want to change episode 1, but...
Yeah,
This is where we find out that Callow can survive a huge beam of metal hitting his head.
He's hard to kill.
He's hard. That's all the answer you need. He's hard to kill, Lord Malik.
Her companions are nothing to me, Callow. But I desire the young Jedi taken alive, if at all possible.
The angle there is so great. Just makes Malik look even taller.
I know. I remember Callow's animation scale is really crazy. Because he's such a short little model. A weird design, too, with the goggles on. This
thing about Kareth hinting at Logan's identity is also a very episode 2 thing to do.
That's the first CGI shot I made.
And it's very nice.
That, and then it wipes the hyperspace, which I think I did the same day.
And more hyperspace.
These are all new shots, something you won't find outside the Loganverse.
Because I made a hyperspace template, I believe, for episode 2 a long time ago.
And I used that to kind of figure out my way through 3DS.
Yeah.
There's another scene that takes place in hyperspace. You can see it through the windows. Logan has a line here in the original version where he says, out of everyone that's betrayed us, the one that stands above is Saul.
Who that is.
And Logan says, no idea who that is, with this kind of tone about him. That got changed for this, because...
Yeah. Kevin thought it was just so mean.
Well, I kind of agree.
Yeah.
Logan's just like, I don't care who that is. Shut up, Karth.
I like the new line, by the way, because it's just kind of like dumb thing, like the player doesn't know that.
Yeah.
Or who is that? It's the option, but who is he? Is he Sith? Is that a good way to do it?
You think Logan would know the name of, like, he was in the military, right? So, like, he should know the name of his enemy commanders.
Maybe, but he's a grunt.
Yeah, he had brain problems.
Plus, the brain problems. And even though we always say, like, this should have been episode 2, I do love this scene in general.
Because the first time we see Kareth, and then we go to Karth explaining who that guy
that's
is.
new to this film. That's the first time we see Kareth, and now it's Karth. But I love this moment where it's so quiet, and they could have destroyed us all. They nearly destroyed us all, and it's all his fault, and that's where his guilt and whininess comes from.
And Logan doesn't have anything to say to it.
Yeah, there's nothing to say.
Which is pretty weird for Logan. That's rough, buddy.
But I don't want to talk about it right now. Let's go.
Now we're getting.
He doesn't want to talk about it. Karth never wants to talk about anything.
Here we're getting to Kashyyyk or
Kashyyyk.
In a previous scene, Logan called it Kashyyyk, and this one he calls it Kashyyyk. That actually comes from. Oh, is it?
He says we'll go to Kashyyyk first, and now it says Kashyyyk.
Oh, every time he said it up to this point, I tried to switch it up because Kev did all these lines. Like, he did like 3 hours of recording a night to get me these lines.
Did he do it in different ways in case he changed his mind which one he wanted to use?
Yeah, because
I know he did it both ways in episode 3, but only one of them made it in the film.
Well,
in the animatics, I think he did it differently.
He couldn't remember how to pronounce Kashyyyk or Kashyyyk at first. He wasn't sure.
Well, because in the game it's Kashyyyk. In Revenge of the Sith, it's Kashyyyk.
He wasn't sure how to pronounce it. So I think he texted me wanting an answer or something. And then he realized he could make a joke out of it in this scene right here where they meet the Zerka guy. Which I think is a fantastic little addition. But
and I wanted to revoice the Ithorian because I felt like there's so much alien dialogue in this game.
Yes.
That joke would not work now with human voice here.
There's a fun story about that. My roommate, the one that said sorry, but that ain't gonna happen, he actually voiced the lines for this guy, and I had them on the timeline, but it didn't work with Logan's joke that Kevin really wanted, so I had to cut it and put him back to being an alien.
Sorry, guy.
Yeah, sorry about that.
It ain't gonna happen.
Sorry about that, roommate. That wasn't easy, but it was all for a joke, so
yeah,
it was all right.
That's what drives the Loganverse.
You gotta have some humor. You gotta have some humor to keep it lively.
See, so much Ithorian dialogue.
Yeah.
We even removed some from this film.
Yeah, I've used a little bit from the MMO as well. This scene where they debate, because in
debating
Zalbar in the game,
classic Loganverse clip delivery.
In the game, it's just a trigger point, like right here or something, where whoever you have in the party just questions why you didn't bring Zalbar.
Yeah, it's only one of them. It's there's a tier of which one it wants to pick. It's like an order of priority.
I remember finding it on YouTube 10, 11 years ago where Kevin, I don't know how many times he played the game, but he got like Bastila and Mission and them to all comment on it and stitch it together so it felt like they were all there. Mm-hmm. That was the first KOTOR the movie clip I ever saw. So it was fun to remake this and go back, and it's mostly the same.
There have been a bit of changes.
Yeah, we added a little snide comment from Bastila and Karth. Yeah. You can see the whole party here.
One line here is not in the game. It's cut content.
Of course not. Only the idiots around me.
That's actually some banter with this. Yeah, it's more than one line. It's the whole thing here. The Karth banter is from when Bastila could have been a party member on Korriban. They changed their minds. They thought the Sith would recognize her, so they didn't allow that. So all her dialogue that they had written and recorded was not used, including the banter.
And who are you to stop us, little man?
Candace threatens this guy, which was in a trailer for episode 1, but not ever in the final version of the movie.
I'm not sure why that got removed.
I don't know either, actually. I don't know.
It didn't get removed this time.
I put it back in, and then Logan calls him Gate Guard number 2.
He was worried that line was too Hollywood, and he talked to us, and every one of us said not keep it.
I thought it was funny. I was like, that's so
Logan. He forgot about it, and then started laughing when he saw the film again.
It was like I said earlier, Kev did all his lines in like 2 or 3 days.
Yeah, and then
sent them to me.
We had work to do, and then
and then he went on a vacation to Europe. Again. He was vacationing in Europe while we were finishing the movie. He came back and then watched the movie and forgot he did some of these Logan lines.
He told us Strick laughed at that too. And as you say, Logan's doing the talking. Kanos gets bored and just starts messing with Karth.
Yeah. Kanos tries to pick a fight with the gate guard. Logan's like, whoa,
but
don't
he can't
do
do
that.
So
he turns around and just immediately picks a fight.
Yeah. Hey, Karth, you remember that terrible war we all fought in where you have PTSD about it?
Yeah, we ravaged your worlds for fun, basically, because we enjoy it. Let's talk about that.
But I think they leave certain areas infested, just hoping a Zerka guard will get killed.
What do you know about the Wookiees out there?
I'm trying to think what else. There's something else I was going to mention, but I don't know what it was.
The line that we all love, but Mrs. Director loves.
When they rip your head off and fish out of Shadowlands.
It's coming up.
It's got a little bit.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
But yeah, just more episode 1 goodness. The whole party walks up as a group, which I had to do all the footsteps for in post-production.
Oh, yeah.
So the Wookiees are fighting back then?
Not anymore.
But I just think it's cool to see all of them kind of like as a group.
Yeah. Okay, now it's coming up.
When they rip your head off, we'll fish it out of the Shadowlands and give it a proper burial. How about that?
Well, yeah, of course, as long as you give the head a proper burial. That's important.
As long as you give the head a proper burial. That's important. That's so Logan. And he says charming, really, which is a reference to episode 2.
Charming, really. That postcard warned me about Katarn attacks.
If I could cut one scene out of episode 1, it would be this scene, because they put parts on a robot to fight these monsters, except this time there's like 7 of them here, or 6 of them, however many there are in the party. The thing immediately gets killed by monsters.
But Kevin loves it because of all these free cam shots that were so hard for him to do.
Yeah, and the original...
He had, for the record, we script stuff in advance so we know how it's going to play out. He has to, in real time, follow the droid with the camera controlling it as it's fighting these things.
And he's gotten some amazing shots doing that like, and 1 in a million.
Yeah, so he loves this scene, but...
Because it was his first one that he could use the free cam during a fight.
Think it's kind of silly. I don't know, I could go either way. I remember this was a very old clip, too, the droid thing. Because he was so proud of all his camera work.
And it was good, and I actually matched a lot of those shots really closely. Did. But they end up just killing all these monsters right away anyway.
Yeah.
So
it's just like Gate Guard number 1, where he could just open the door. They killed the rat ghouls instantly.
Yeah, it's just Kenrath are creepy looking though. I remember here Bastila.
This creepy shot with the dying, and you told me that's why you did it, that angle.
I think that was actually an accident. Like I was getting the camera in position, and Bastila killed the spider too fast, Kenrath. And I was like, that actually looks really cool.
That happens if you don't script it, and that would be trouble that Mr. Director would have had.
Yeah.
The original film director.
Yeah.
But yeah, the folding legs just really creeps me out.
Yeah, it's a weird way to die. Like, this was another shot that I had to redo.
The zoom in.
Zoom in with the little sound
classic
effect.
free cam delivery.
Yeah.
But we don't have that on the Xbox. I have the PC. Only the Xbox.
Yeah.
We got new tools for that, though.
Yeah, new tools, It's just funny that on the Xbox version you can type in a cheat and the camera is free, but on the PC,
it's Punch It Chewy.
Yeah, on the PC it's like a whole 9 yards and.
Oh, we over the years we've changed our ways to do cameras. I think 5 of them now, maybe.
Yeah.
We're just trying new things over and over again until we get it right.
Some of which I'm thankful I was not a part of.
Oh yes. You came in quite at the end there. You probably worked with the last 2 methods. Well, three.
Thank goodness.
So now we meet Zalbar's brother, Chundar.
Step forward and address the mighty and wise Chundar. So in the original episode 1, the Wookiees talked in very, very broken English, which I know Kev used to get a lot of grief about in like the YouTube comments and stuff.
His reason is that Logan doesn't understand the language.
Yeah.
So he doesn't want to sound like they're speaking in perfect English that he understands.
Yeah.
I understand that, but you toned it down a bit.
Well, he toned it down. He toned it down for episode 2 and 3.
And he told you to tone it down for episode 1.
Yeah, so I took it down a level. And also, I don't know if anyone noticed, in the original episode 1, Wookiee is misspelt every single time with 1 E.
Like cookie.
Right, so I had to fix that in this one.
Yeah. But you had to do all the subtitles again anyway, so.
I did, yeah. It was really weird to watch these scenes without subtitles, like while I was editing them, because it's just Wookiees talking back and forth.
Logan just tried to use Force Persuade, and I don't get why it didn't work.
It only works on the weak-minded.
Okay, Chundar's strong-minded.
Chundar's a slave rooster.
Chundar's voice is strong now.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone noticed that as well, but the three main Wookiee characters, Chundar, Zalbar, and Freyr, who shows up later,
seen soon.
They all talk to each other. So I tried to pull a lot of different sources for the Wookiee dialogue.
Because again, in the game, they all say the same thing.
And there's maybe 30 lines. And they'll just
not
talk.
30 lines.
You think
maybe
less?
Because there are, because it's Zalbar.
But they all
He's
just
a party member.
They all just go back and forth, and so I made them all sound different and unique. And Chunar's lines are all pitched down, so he sounds a little more evil.
And you used some from the MMO, as you said. Did you use any from any other games?
A little bit of Empire at War. There's a couple sources. I can't remember them all.
Yeah, I remember we compiled a bunch of sources.
Some are from Hanhar and KOTOR 2.
Oh yeah, Hanhar.
Like a lot of real spitty, growly lines. Well, there's a lot of Freyrs come from the MMO actually.
Interesting.
And now we're going down to the Shadowlands.
I was told that this sounds very James Bondy.
Yeah, I don't get that.
I don't get it either.
This was one that I had no idea where it came from.
It's not from James Bond.
This is one I had no idea where it came from, and I had to use my phone like Shazam to figure out what it came from because I don't think Kev remembered, or if he did, I forgot to ask.
Yeah. There was something we were talking about our new camera methods. You pointed out to me that scene was all one shot.
Yep. They're all walking as a group, and I was like, I can just keep the camera right on Mission and Logan as they're talking back and forth to each other.
Now, that's I wouldn't say it's a common thing in film and like live action films, but it's a standard thing you can do.
Yeah.
It's almost impossible. It has been impossible to do with KOTOR because just the way the animations work and getting it all perfect.
It took a little bit of
like one thing after another and getting it to look perfect.
It's kind of like real life. Like in real life, those one takes are impressive because all the actors have to hit their marks, and for us, it's like
although they're doing it repeatedly, so they practice.
Yeah, for us, it's like we got to write all these scripts.
Yeah,
and
with
stuff.
us, it's that. This is the issue.
And that was just a small little scene. They're just walking.
Yeah, but I personally want to do a lot more of that because I appreciate some of the stuff that Steven Spielberg does with one-shot scenes.
Yeah.
And so I've been trying to push for some of that.
I wanted to do that because you can see the entire party as a group in that shot. It all pulls back and it reveals the space that they're going to fight Cal
and
Norden.
one of the reasons I want to do it is because of the simplicity. You don't notice it, so it feels more natural. Yep. And I didn't notice that one because of that reason.
Oh, Mr. Director loves that one.
Yeah.
They met Jolie while we were talking, and now they're
Jolie.
Now they're running through the Shadowlands.
And one thing that Kevin, it drives me. He has flashbacks to this. He can pause it, or he not the what is it called?
He did some After Effects.
He rotoscoped
the
lightsaber of Jolie because he didn't want Jolie to have a green lightsaber because he picked that for Logan. So Jolie has a purple lightsaber in the Loganverse.
And in the game, you can give Jolie a purple lightsaber once he joins your party.
But not in the cutscene before you meet him.
Not when he fights the
not
monsters.
In your party. And on the Xbox, you can't do anything about that unless you have, I believe you use After Effects. But
and he went. He told me he went frame by frame.
Yeah, frame by frame.
Replaced the green.
2 minutes to do.
Yeah, all I did was
crazy.
All I did was go into Jolie's inventory.
Yeah.
For that creature, and I said
that UTC file.
I said, hey, give that guy a purple lightsaber instead of a green, and then I was like, oh,
actually,
there
I
it
can
is.
think of several other ways to do it too.
There are. That's just how I
did
it.
The color of the texture. You could rename the lightsaber item to be actually the purple one instead of the green one. There's so many ways. It's so funny that so many things are easy on the PC version, but then the camera stuff has been giving us trouble, and the Xbox was so much better for a long time.
Yeah. But I didn't have to rotoscope frame by frame.
We've had both methods for a while, so we get the best of both worlds. And now, going forward with our new tools, we're not going to be using the Xbox.
Well, even still, like, I remember when we started doing the preliminary stuff for the swoop chase, we didn't think we could get the cameras to move right. Yeah. And so it's probably only up till right around now that we've been able to fully do some of the free cam stuff that was in the Xbox.
Yeah, his original plan was to do some of the cameras on the Xbox. He did some of it for I believe he uploaded on the channel the preview of the swoop chase. He did some with the free cam.
Yep.
But we had decided no more Xbox footage from now on because you can't record it in 1080p.
No, I mean, I like this shot right here. Logan walks away from Jolie.
I know Kevin likes it too.
Jolie's on his shoulder there, giving him fatherly advice.
I know Jolie and Bastila there.
Yep.
I know you love doing that.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for shots that have multiple characters in frame.
You told me because you picked up photography, and that's changed the way you look at things.
Yeah, it gave me a new directorial eye. I always try to make the frame interesting, but there's a little tack monster in the frame there. Which Kevin was like, "What is that?" I was like, "You
remember from the game?"
I was like, "You filmed 40 minutes of cache footage,
yeah.
like
10 years ago."
Yeah, that's true, but they make a really annoying noise.
Yeah, but we cut that out, fortunately.
Yeah. They make a weird noise. That's a weird game.
Yeah.
Game thing.
Well, I think the problem is that there are so many of them that it's drowning everything out.
Yeah.
It's constantly looping.
Yeah, that was a mistake on BioWare's part, I think.
And we'll take you off this world.
I will then remove certain barriers in your path.
And in the game, Jolie says, like, go kill some poachers.
That's
or
true.
go take care of poachers.
Quest here. It wasn't really needed, but it's to go deal with Zerka or something and then come back. It's a video gamey thing to do.
Yeah, go do a fetch quest for me.
Yeah.
Nah, Jolie just wants to get off the jungle.
Yeah, he just wants to ride off the place.
Who could blame him? Here's our giant force field door that Zerka put in.
Yeah. I know. I believe that shot behind the force field you added.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Because this is a cutscene where they're talking.
Yeah.
Kevin wouldn't have any control over the camera.
Yeah. Like I said, there's always times where I was like, oh, this shot from someone was sweet, but I'd look at a shot sometimes and be like, this shot was this way because Kev
because Jolie would be facing the player the whole time. There's not much you could do to change it.
And Jolie,
and you had him like do things.
He's supposed to tinker.
Do anything in the game.
He's supposed to tinker with a side panel, but the game wouldn't behave.
It doesn't even go down, I don't think.
No, I think it just warps you right to the next area.
Yeah.
Logan tells the other party members to go away.
See, it's very nice that it's going away.
I'm glad the other party members were gone because then I didn't have
to deal with
I didn't have to keep scripting them to do stuff. It was just the only 3 Jedi and no more blaster sounds. It was a nice change of pace. This is actually my favorite scene from the original episode 1.
I like it too. I'm not sure if it's my favorite. That's coming up.
Because this was the first scene
I like that shot though.
With the first scene with Logan and Bastila and all those characters that Kevin could do free cam on. So I actually matched a lot of the shots with the...
This is like the first time he figured that out because he didn't realize that you could use free cam in combat scenes, and it's actually... There's a trick to it, to having the characters fight and using the free cam at the same time.
Yeah, but...
So he didn't figure that out until long into Kashyyyk, and that was the original reason,
really,
as we said...
The droid scene
back
was
in 2008, he decided to go back into the special edition.
But because of that, I actually matched a lot of these Tyrannotech fight scenes or fight shots really, really closely because they were really iconic to me. Like that shot of Logan like twirling the lightsaber from like low is exactly like the original episode 1.
You were surprised. You had no idea what that sound was when the thing died. I remember hearing it 1,000 times in Jedi Knight 1. It's the Tusken Raider sound.
We changed the Mandalorians up here so they're not just like randomly chilling. We're trying to make it look like they're training or something like that. They're using the Wookiee as training exercise.
By the way, I don't want to leave anything unfinished. I totally forgot to mention in the Bounty Hunter with Davik, that was the first clip for the original special edition 2008.
That's right.
I said we were going to talk about it when it came up.
We completely forgot.
Yeah, it slipped my mind there.
Then they got to go rescue Freyr.
And you had the Mandalorians standing back at first because they're training. Like, one guy is supposed to defeat them.
Yeah, the lowest ranking guy who's in blue has to fight Freyr, and he dies. So then the yellow guy sends the next one up.
He's only a blue guy. They can find more blue guys.
Yep. The Jedi, remember, they have force powers and just wreck the Mandalorians.
There was the Wilhelm scream. I used a different version. There
the
are 2
swoop
versions
keys,
that are used in the Star Wars films. I used the other one because you said you wanted to use that one there.
Yep. Freyr speaks. That's a classic episode 1 line.
Yeah.
Well, this may prove difficult.
There's a shot coming up here that I really like, where it goes from like Freyr's eye level down to Logan's eye level.
Oh, look at
that right there.
Yeah, it's nice.
That one I actually filmed at a higher resolution, like 1440p.
Oh, really?
And I did it sideways at a 45-degree angle, and then I just fixed it in post.
I see.
Not the best way to do it, but it worked.
It did work. I like to say this thing about Freyr and his sons is the story of Edmund the Bastard. We're not going to bleep that out because that's his real name. from King Lear, the Shakespeare play. It's not King Lear, it's the subplot. I believe it's Gloucester exiles one of his sons because Edmund the Bastard made his brother out to be a bad guy and got him exiled, and then exiled his father. So that's the whole story of the Wookiees here.
It's the exact same one.
Yeah, I'm not criticizing from that. It's a nice story, and it's interesting. It's just very interesting to use that for Wookiees.
I think also the whole thing about he can't use his claws to attack. I think that's supposed to be a thing about the Force. You can't use your claws to attack anyone. I think it's supposed to be the Force, but I don't know if that was intentional.
What do you mean the Force?
Well, the Jedi aren't supposed to use the Force for attack.
Oh, he means like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I completely forgot to mention earlier, there's a shot of Logan running to rescue Freyr, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of Mr. Director's all-time favorite shots.
I love that shot, too.
Because that was the moment when he could use free cam on Logan.
Right.
Is because Logan started to run away to attack someone, and he followed him.
As strong feelings about as him, but I love it that they're doing one thing with the Terran Tactics, and then in the background it's, we gotta jump to another thing, let's go.
Yep. So I had to remake that shot as close as I could.
Almost at the star map. We got so much to talk about
here. We
do. And for the record, I was afraid people were gonna hate what we're gonna do here.
I was pretty confident that it was gonna be all right.
I thought people were gonna hate it. There were so many difficulties with it.
It was not.
I haven't heard any complaints.
You did a great.
About it.
JC wrote this scene. Well,
not this part.
Not this part. This part's from the game.
The new part that's coming up, we'll point out.
So the whole story behind this.
Yeah, tell me, because I didn't know for a while. It was your idea, or was it his idea?
It was I think it was mostly my idea. So if you're watching the movie with us, you'll notice that they're talking to a hologram of an alien.
By the way, this is not the one from.
It's not the
game.
one. Yeah.
The one from the game. His lips don't move.
His lips don't move.
That's another thing why I pointed that out and it drove you crazy.
You pointed out to me that the lips don't move. It was driving me crazy. The hologram from the game looks pretty bad. It doesn't look like all the other holograms we've done.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, well, we could just make our own hologram.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, what if we made that hologram someone else?
If we have to make it our own.
And then Kev got excited about it and was like, let's try it. And that also was why I think you're the one that suggested to me.
Scanning that it would see Logan, and that I didn't feel like it was pointed out that it's Logan specifically in the original version and in the game.
So we made the hologram turn into Revan.
Yeah.
Which was not.
I was afraid, first of all, the voice here.
Yeah.
And Mr. Director was afraid too, whether people recognize it. When we did the live stream of episode 1, someone asked who voiced Revan.
Yeah.
So I just thought, job done there.
I think with the filters.
It's voiced by Ghost Kevin, as I call him, because he voiced Ghost Revan in episode 3.
He does a bit of a different voice for him.
Yeah,
and with the filters, it works.
He does the acting is different. Yeah, it's more condescending.
Yeah.
But we pitched it down 13%. You thought it was funny because you asked what did you do for that, and Ice and I responded at the same time, 13% down.
We both remembered.
Why do you guys remember that? But we did some more stuff. I looked up how to do Darth Vader, Stormtrooper, and Kylo Ren filters, and so we messed around with his voice here. We're going to use something similar for the Revan prequels.
Yep. Yeah, the whole idea was basically started because I didn't like the way the game's hologram looked.
So we were all afraid that we'd recognize each other. But then I was afraid of, this is such a huge change, not just to the Loganverse, but to the game. We don't see Revan.
Nope.
It's not in the game. It's not in the film.
Kev loves it because, and I agree with him.
I love it. I mean, I wrote it, so of course I love it.
Kev likes it because it gives Revan an identity before the twist.
Yeah.
That way, the audience was
so you
like,
think he's just the dude and not Logan.
You're like, oh, this is who Revan was. This is what he was about. Instead of just hearing about him secondhand. We get a little first-hand bit of him, even though he's dead.
Christina there, she voiced Bastila for that part.
Yep. The hologram mocks Bastila, which we didn't have a Bastila line for it, so we had Christina do it.
Yeah. Now, I want to talk about my inspiration for the writing part here.
Yeah.
And the other reason I was worried, I gotta write Darth Revan of all things.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna be writing him for the prequels, but this was kind of a different thing here.
He's in
his full glory here.
Yeah.
But my two inspirations here. It's fine. The first one is going to sound silly to you. Well, you know the story.
Yeah.
It's going to sound silly to the KOTORadio listeners. The first thing when you told me about it,
yeah,
I thought the anime Steins Gate, and I don't want to spoil it, but has a very similar situation here. And so I went and watched it several times. Well, not the whole thing.
As inspiration.
And that was my inspiration. Where I don't want to spoil. I really wish I could talk about it, but I don't want to spoil something unrelated to KOTOR.
Yeah.
But my other inspiration was what they talk about is what Logan's asking about in episode 2.
Yeah.
I wanted to get him into the mindset of, I'm doing what Revan did.
Yeah.
I'm worried about this now. I gotta find out what he did, where he went. I'm going where he went, finding what he found.
It adds a lot of gravitas to this whole search for the Starforge.
Right, so we were going through the similarity. Revan, I was trying to figure out, because we didn't want to, in the game there's a trivia question. It's like, it's kind of silly. I don't even explain it for the podcast, but we thought it was silly. And
it wasn't even in the original episode 1 because it sucked.
I wanted to figure out, what does Revan want? He wants Logan to admit that he's like Revan.
Yeah.
That he's doing what Revan did.
It's all a mind game.
Yeah, it is.
But I think it turned out
great. Is that
great.
what you wanted to hear, Revan? Well, thank you, sir. And I did see some nice comments about it.
But I won't run away from my destiny.
Yes, you are ready. Soon you will recognize the proper course to follow.
When Revan was talking about, like, the cost of what Logan will do.
Yeah.
And you cannot rely on the Jedi Council, that stuff. I phrased that the most specific way I could, so it doesn't apply just to Logan in these films. It applies to Revan in the Mandalorian Wars. And of course, parallel there. But it applies to the galaxy at whole after all this mess, after KOTOR 2 and it's ruined.
Oh, okay.
Your enemy lies on the edge of space. The Republic is crippled.
That's right.
You cannot rely on your Jedi Council any longer. What do you do? What are we going to do for KOTOR 3? We don't know. But I wanted to get all 3 time periods in there.
I like that.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Now that we've got what you came for, we should be heading back up to the treetops.
They actually have the star map now, so...
Oh, yeah, I like how it closes here. The timing is perfect.
That's the only time we see the star map close.
Yeah.
Every other time it cuts away. But now they're back at Chundar.
Yep.
All of Chundar's Zerka goons are here. Zalbar's a prisoner but has a sword. Whoops.
Well, I think
That's
Freyr
my bad.
slipped it to him. He handed his son his sword.
We'll go with that. It's actually because they had to fight, but I didn't think.
Yeah, I know why you did it. And you got some grief about how Caden has his lightsabers all over the place.
I offered to reshoot that scene,
yeah, I know.
But
I think he's sticking it to Bastila. Either he's sticking it to Bastila because she lost her lightsaber, or now he's afraid, what if I lose my lightsaber?
He's hanging on to it for dear life.
I don't have battle meditation, so he's hanging on to them for dear life.
Chundar's doing all sorts of pissed off poses here. He's doing the evil pose, the talk angry poses. Chundar's just not having a good day.
Bastila's hair is annoying me there because Strick pointed that out. Her hair doesn't make physical sense.
It always has a little bit of a part in it, but
maybe she has gel or something.
Space gel.
Space gel. Yeah, the Wookiee rage.
Yeah, he's just like, I'm done with this. There's a shot in here that I was supposed to be like a reference to Attack of the Clones right here where.
Oh yeah, I see it.
It's a close up of Jolie and Logan deflecting blasters like as they turn around.
As the KOTOR gang theme is going.
Yep, which is from
Muppet Treasure Island.
That's Mr. Director's favorite shot, by the way.
Oh, that one?
Yeah.
I would not have guessed that.
Me neither. I had to redo it 3 or 4 times.
I don't want to knock your early stuff, but compare this to anything on Terrace and the complexity here.
I think you kind of have to.
I mean, you have to do that. You have to build up to that, but it just shows how much you improved.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It was a learning experience because I did these 3 action scenes pretty close to the end.
Yeah.
And there's the code to make these action scenes run was hundreds and hundreds of lines.
You did this after the Callow fight, right?
I think so. Yeah. The Callow fight.
This is one of the final things you did.
Yeah. The Callow fight was not easy.
Oh, well, we'll be talking about that.
It's coming up pretty soon.
I'm not going to forget about that one this time.
No, that goes on for a bit. I remember we were talking about that well before I even got to it because, like, with all we can script now, we try to make the lightsaber battles go by pretty quick because Logan can just throw a lightsaber at someone and kill him.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, how do you make that interesting?
And we're gonna have that problem in the Mandalorian Wars.
Yep, we got some
The
stuff.
films.
We got some stuff thought of, but
Mandalorians don't have lightsabers. One of them has a dark saber, but I don't know if we'll see it.
I think Yari might already have it, but
I don't know because Mandalore had it in.
That's right.
So I don't know where that is. Maybe he has an idea for that, but nobody else has a lightsaber.
No, this scene got reshuffled around. This is
Oh,
when
yeah.
the Wookiees are. Jolie and Zalbar go to help the Wookiees.
Yeah, that was a little thing he added.
Yep.
A Loganverse edition in the game. There's just a cutscene of them all fighting.
And
However,
you can join them.
Yeah, it's
But
after you, yeah.
but
I think it shows them for a while.
Yeah, he reshuffled it so that it's like Jolie and Zalbar are doing that while they fight Calla, which in the game happens earlier.
What I was going to point out is that before you trigger the scene, they're constantly fighting in the background and they can't kill each other.
Right, so he could just record all of it.
Yeah, so he was able to free cam all of it, and so that was a clever thing that he did.
But Logan says defend the village, but they go right to the spaceport, so I actually moved it to the village.
Yeah, we moved it there. And you said that you had never seen the Battle of Kashyyyk.
No, I hadn't before I saw the movie.
Because of the way the game is, there's the fast travel option that just sends you back to the Ebon Hawk. So you were done with business after talking to Freyr.
I was like, I've talked to Freyr, I'm heading back to Ebon Hawk.
So you never triggered that scene. I would always trigger it the wrong way because I would do the same thing. When I return to the planet, it's triggered and it's all messed up, going in the wrong order.
But you'll gladly accept their payment.
Here's the Calo Nord
Nord is
fight.
back. He had to be the final boss for this film.
Yep. Logan does the Neo thing.
A little bit unfortunately that means we don't have a lightsaber duel. But
Just the training one, but
yeah, but I mean a real duel. But
so,
you did such a great job.
So we talked about
off.
for months in advance how do we make Calo work? I mean, he's got the 4 goons all shooting lasers and stuff, but
yeah, we talked about so many things. We didn't even use all the ideas.
We didn't. Some of it's going to be in Revan, I guess. But
your inspiration, you want to mention that, right?
Yeah, the big inspiration for the scene was actually HK-47's dialogue from KOTOR 2. He talks about how to kill a Jedi.
Atten does a bit too.
Yeah, I think I mainly used HK's, but he talks about
HK says some great things.
He talks about like how overwhelm them with numbers with blasters so they can't deflect all of it.
Yeah.
Attack their allies.
And
use grenades, use gas attacks, rockets, and Calo does every single one of those things.
Yeah, he does all those things.
And it almost works for him, but not quite.
And now Jolie and Zalbar are defending the village. Will they go to the spaceport where Zerka is?
Yep. And this is where the stuff from the original episode 1 was, but I kind of reshuffled how it
They were
works.
actually coming from the wrong direction in episode 1 because he used the fast travel from the Ebon Hawk.
Yep.
But he probably had to do that to trigger these scenes.
I tried to make it so that they're defending this little headquarters area. And they're storming it.
I remember you were wondering where to do it, and we ended up just do it in their little base there.
Yeah, and there's some other action going on. See a lot of different kinds of Wookiees here. Some female Wookiees, some male
There's
Wookiees.
some new funny stuff where the Wookiees want to fight some too, and Jolie kills them all.
Yeah.
Leave some for us, guy.
Yeah, leave
Just
some
shrug.
for us. And Jolie just shrugs at him.
And now it's your buddy here is Captain Deno.
Yeah, I guess Captain
new
Deno
addition.
seems to be kind of in charge around here. He's voiced by my buddy Matt Falties.
He's actually the guy that Jolie tells you to take out in the cut stuff.
Blast! I don't get paid enough for this.
I had to get him into character about Wookiees. I had him hold an unloaded gun, and
I wish you hadn't told me this story earlier. So
yeah, I know.
On the podcast.
But I basically had him hold an unloaded gun and talk about how he wanted to kill Wookiees and stuff.
Told him that like bears coming at you.
Yeah, I was like, a bear's coming at you, except it's not a bear, it's a Wookiee.
Yeah.
But now we're back to the Calo Nord fight.
You really got into it too.
Yeah. Bastila tries to end it quick and takes the same kind of grenade from Terrace. That was the payoff for it.
Yeah. Well, there's another one coming up too.
Yep.
Jango Fett sounds again that you love.
Logan gets a saber back and kind of goes a little dark side here. Gets Bastila's saber to top it off.
We had a reason for that. It's to hint that Logan's gonna have 2 sabers in the next film.
She does.
There's another thing. I'm not gonna spoil it, but there'll be a connection in the prequels.
Yep. And then Mr. Director had an idea in mind for this, and
he scared you that night.
Yeah, he was like, "What if we have Logan shove the grenade down Calo's throat?" And I was like,
Jenks was working in the middle of the night because he was doing night shift at the time.
Yeah, and I was like, whoa.
Shove a grenade down his face.
And I was like, yeah, we can do that. And then I thought about it. I was like, that's actually pretty sweet.
I'm tired of being surrounded by all these dead Wookiees and bits of Calo's face.
Yeah.
Maybe don't kill them all, guy.
I like how that turned out, though. Logan.
Yeah, no, I love it.
It's kind of crazy because it goes by so fast, but
yeah.
Logan just shoves it in there, and then in episode 3, when he's thinking about Callow's death, he doesn't remember that part because Logan's like, I don't want to remember that time I blew up Calo Nord's face.
That's how you explain the continuity error.
That's how I'm going to explain it on the record.
Do a special edition of episode 3 because it has so much sentimental value to us, but we also stand behind it as.
I love episode 3.
We did work, and we're gonna stand behind it.
More characters walking into the scene because I love to make myself do the footsteps.
Yep, you love doing footsteps.
This is a line that I don't think Kevin ever intended to be so sad.
Yeah.
But Logan...
And he changed it. He kind of backpedaled.
Yeah, Logan's original line is, I'll bring your son back here, I promise.
Yeah. I'll make every effort now.
Yeah, which is still pretty kind of Utini.
Can you have some outtakes on that?
Yeah, he does. But, I mean, Zalbar doesn't make it back.
We have to do a blooper reel.
This was actually my favorite scene of the movie with how I filmed it.
Yeah, with your favorite special edition scene.
Yeah,
I like it too.
Bastila, even though she was unconscious, is gonna judge him for blowing Calo Nord's face off, I guess.
Yeah. But I know she could sense it. With
she was watching. Bond. She just didn't want to get up yet.
Yeah.
She got kicked around.
She got knocked down so many times.
Yeah.
And she was like unconscious for a week.
She gets electrocuted. She's just like, I don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't want to do this anymore.
But that was the reason for the grenade down the face. Is he wanted to show more of the dark side.
Yeah.
And that's another thing is I wanted to connect this to the earlier scene with Revan, the new stuff.
Yep.
I believe there are lines in this scene that we used in the Revan scene.
Yep.
But I wanted to get in the moment of like Logan's worried about he's being Revan.
Yeah.
He's being Revan.
That's not something they teach you in the Jedi training.
No, they don't teach you how to not be Revan.
Yeah, they don't teach you to shove grenades down people's faces.
Here's the dream, because as we said, he didn't use the terror stuff of the visions.
It's all right here.
To the end of the
film.
But
we had to refilm it. Also, it'd be high quality
but
and match what we had in mind.
This is not the dream you saw before.
Nope.
You guys had some new crazy ideas. You want to make it really trippy.
There's callbacks. There's call forwards.
Yeah.
There's all those voices
that you've never heard before. You'll be hearing it.
There's all those voices. Yeah. There's a line from Revan. There's a line from episode 3. There's a line from Iceman's movies.
Yeah. There's a little cameo of the SL series.
Also from Iceman's movies. Because this scene, because I wanted to redo it to make it higher quality.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, if we're going to redo it anyway...
This is another pre-rendered scene. It's not.
It should match. Game. Yeah, it should match what we have in mind for Revan.
Oh, yeah.
So
and Revan's got 2 sabers because he has that in KOTOR 2 in the Korriban flashback.
So this scene, while it plays out almost the same, has some details changed.
Yeah, I mean, the basic plot. A guy gets choked, and she defeats a dude and then fights Revan, and then the ship blows up.
No. There's just some extra stuff we added, like you can see Malik's ship.
And there's a prologue shot.
Yeah, it ties all back to the cold open.
Oh, yeah.
Logan
sleeps. The thing is, I don't think this really spoils it because, you know, they're force bond. He might be just feeling Bastila's memories. You don't know what it is.
Logan sleeps in his armor, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And then Malik is going to... Was this planet Sullust?
Yes, that's a little new thing. I wanted to do a HOTOR about that. I'm not sure if we're going to do it. But then there's a story behind that. We were going to have the Battle of Sullust in episode 3, and he switched it to Mustafar for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't know, because it was fresher on people's minds, maybe.
I think so, yeah.
But so I wanted to put Sullust back in. But also because of the Sullust and Jenks, I thought we could do something with that. We still might, I'm just not sure what the timeline's going to be now.
And this is the ending celebration, which...
Oh, yeah.
Is more like a ending, stand around and do a little bit of dancing.
Yeah.
Logan laughs at something in here.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I remember you pointed this out, and I find it funny now. Here it is.
Yeah, Logan does a little laugh.
Logan's laughing, and Karth frowns a bit.
I feel like you could sum up their entire...
but then he smiles a bit.
Working relationship that way.
Yeah. Bastila's on the balcony there.
Yep.
This is kind of out of order. It's non-linear.
Yeah.
He wanted her to stay there the whole time. But we complained about a shot coming up where she wasn't in it.
Bastila was supposed to be watching for a bit, and then she
wanted her to
leaves
be distant, and
sulking.
I get where you wanted that. But I think the shot is so iconic that's why you.
There's a shot where the group is all like in one shot, which Kev painstakingly
boy.
made by compositing it.
Yeah, he filmed them in different locations.
I just spawned them all there and said, stand here.
Yeah, again, another thing that's super easy on PC, super hard on the Xbox. But again, we have the flip side of that many times.
But now Bastila's
There's the
here.
shot.
But yeah, she was supposed to not be a part of the party at all.
That was the only time we see the whole party in the original film.
Yeah.
So you cannot see them all at the same time.
Salbar's dancing with chicks.
And he's actually dancing there because he could play the dance animation instead of having him run in circles.
Yep.
This is my little favorite bit.
Yeah,
hinting at their future relationship.
I tried to match this one really, really close.
Oh yeah,
because it was
classic Loganverse scene.
Yeah, it was a special one.
Now
we're leaving
out now, but we're gonna keep talking through the credits, and possibly afterwards if we keep going.
I'm trying to remember if there's anything we wanted to talk about or didn't have room to talk about.
I think we hit all the main points.
Yeah,
I got some stuff to talk about for the credits, but
the whole group in the Ebon Hawk in the cockpit, another little whole group shot.
Logan's not flying away without them this time.
No,
I'm not
he's
sure
not.
what he was thinking there, and I don't think he knows what he was thinking there anyway.
He told me once that Logan was supposed to leave by himself,
Yeah, but
and they would
do that in episode 2.
and they would follow with him, and I was like, oh, my bad.
No, but that didn't happen in episode 2.
No, it didn't.
And there was a new hyperspace out because it annoyed me that I forget why the original one annoyed me.
It was pretty low res,
I guess. I said like, Jenks, if you just want to, like, take you 2 minutes to record them in there, I'll do the visual effects.
I just had a green screen window.
Now I want to point out, you may have noticed that Jenks got the iris out here. He's the director of this, and then immediately Kevin, of course, is the director of the original film. Now, a lot of times people say, the director gets all the credit for everything, like he deserves it.
Yeah.
It's half-ass, you deserved it, guy. What happened here is the film was done. Kevin was the director for the whole thing.
Yeah.
The film was done, and he was like, you really deserved it. I'm giving you the iris out for this.
Well, because he gave me a lot of creative control with it.
Yeah, because I mean, he just did. He was busy, and
yeah,
it's not the same because he did this whole thing on the Xbox by himself. We didn't come in until
it's the same. It's the same movie,
but
mostly.
It was all you doing it on the PC, so he just wanted to leave it up to you.
Well, because I had complete creative control over how to frame shots. Yeah. There was only maybe 5 or 6 times he's like, "Hey, can you change this?"
You knew that you could do that he wouldn't know because he isn't using the PC version.
There's only a couple times he's like, "Hey, I really want this to be like different or something, or the original shot
go back and redo some."
Because I remember when I first started this, I would send him every scene I did. I would send it to him, and eventually he was like, "You don't need to send me these."
I want to point out because I missed it a couple times. Gate guard number 2 is the last credit there, in case anybody missed it. That's a game actor too. We did that as a joke. Yep. We have real credits instead of speeding by, like you said.
Yeah, because Kev couldn't figure out how to make the movie longer than 2 hours originally, and the best way to trim it down a little bit of fat was to make the credits go by at like 4,000.
DVD?
Yeah. So he made it go by at like 4,000% speed.
Yeah, but he didn't want to remove it, like to give them props. But
right. So Kevin actually way back when had this like in credits suite, like classic Star Wars.
Oh yeah,
where he had like
when we were planning this, I forgot to mention that
it has the star map theme and the group battle
because
theme.
He thought he was going to do the credits, so he had to do his new credit music.
So he had credits music picked out for like 10 years and never got to use them. And I don't know if he talked about it on a podcast or a KOTOR forum post or something, but I had it saved somehow.
I didn't even know about it until you told me.
I don't know where I got it, but I had it.
Yeah.
And
this is it. You redid it.
I redid it
quality,
to be. Yeah, I don't know if I compressed it too many times or something. But
and the other thing that's the will of the force is after I did the credit titles here.
Yeah.
After I did them, it was the exact same length. I did not.
Yeah, that was crazy.
I usually speed it up to match the music track.
Yeah.
I didn't change a single thing.
So I know it was cool to finally get to use that.
Oh yeah.
In a lot of ways, doing the special edition kind of now that it's done. Our first movie looks good, nice and good, and people can get into our series.
Skip it and watch the episode 2 prologue.
And I've seen a lot of comments where people are like, "I'm going to check out your channel."
KOTOR theme.
People are like, "I'm going to check out your channel," and I'm like,
"Oh yeah, lots of new viewers because it's episode 1 is the new thing."
Yeah.
And people complain about the graphic getting in 1080p now.
So I'm kind of glad we did it. It was a good learning experience for me. Big shout out to JC and Ice for teaching me.
We both. He also helped me find a lot of dialogue.
Yep. They taught me everything I know, which I guess is dangerous.
It's dangerous, yeah.
But it was a good learning experience, and it put.
Now I want to bring this up because, as we said, you were mostly initiative. You were initiated with it. You were uninitiated before.
Yeah.
You learned the game programming language.
Yep.
Like all the .core stuff.
Yeah.
What each thing does, how to do it. You learned how to do 3D animation in 3ds Max to make all the space stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You edited this whole film.
Yeah.
You knew how to edit before, but editing the whole film is a whole different thing.
It's a
and
beast.
You took time off work to help me troubleshoot, create all these new tools.
Yeah.
You did this in a year and a half, and it took us 10 years to learn what we did. You were our equal, and you surpassed us in other areas. I'm feeling like Logan telling Mitra that she surpassed him now. But like, I mean, he's our animation guy now because he has more experience posting on those posters. Oh, I gotta pause for a bit there to.
So this
mention it.
This after the credits thing was one of the very last things I did. It's a reference to at the end of the episode 1.
I'm gonna make fun of you in a bit just to warn you.
At the end of the episode 1 DVD, this same trailer was there.
Yeah, well, not the exact same, but the trailer for episode 2.
The
first trailer he did, which I believe he edited when he was in the middle of Manon.
I think so, because a lot of the shots were not final.
Yeah.
And I went through.
He did just put it on the DVD.
I went through in like one evening, and I got all these shots for episode 2.
Yeah, and there was another thing, you sent it to him as a surprise.
I did, but at that point,
the surprise was ruined, right?
At that point, he already wanted me to work on episode 2, and
yeah.
We'll get into that on a KOTORadio probably.
Yeah.
About episode 2 special edition. It's not gonna be a main focus. Like Revan's gonna come first.
Revan first, as we keep saying. Revan first.
Revan is definitely our priority, but it would be nice to see the trilogy kind of all.
Yeah, because there's several versions of episode 2, and we want to get a final say on that.
Kind of the episode 2 definitive edition that looks nice and good, and the trilogy will be.
Trilogy will be complete.
Yeah.
The circle will be complete.
Kind of put it all together. Put a pin in it.
It's too fast to see. We might have even missed it, but there was a shot where Bree is wearing the wrong armor because you can't tell the difference between green and gray because of your color blind issue. Green and brown.
I picked the wrong Bree.
You picked the wrong one. That's I'm not going to give you more grief about that, but I just wanted to point that out. And if anyone's complaining about that, we're going to fix that.
Yeah, all the shots in that are final.
You did a great job. I can't believe how much you've learned with this, and this whole thing we've been talking about it all weekend. This is just crazy.
Yeah, I can't believe I learned all that either. And it was awesome to make this.
I mean, we were 10 years ago. We were just lurking on the internet. I used to Google KOTOR movie to go hunt him down and see, is this thing done yet?
Yeah.
More than 10 years ago now. It was 2006. If you were to tell me that 10 years later I would have joined his film crew and screened conventions with him, and I would not have heard of Jenks and Ice or Twig and Kevin Smith. We would not have met each other. There would be no connection. This game and these films and Star Wars were the force that brought us together.
Which is crazy.
It just blows my mind. I cannot explain a single step. How did this happen? I don't know.
If I ever tell someone about it, I'm like, well, it's a crazy story. It's a crazy story.
We met Jennifer Hale this weekend. That was a coincidence too, and we'll talk about that. This has been a crazy weekend, and the craziness is not over.
But yeah, we got a lot of good stuff in store, but I hope you guys enjoyed episode 1.
And I hope you enjoyed our commentary.
Yep.
We made a bit of flubs, but we're new at this.
Yeah, we're not the regular hosts, so...
So we'll wrap it up now?
Yeah, I don't think
There's more to say. We've already run out the credits.
Yeah, we've already...
And the preview.
I can't think of anything.
Alright, so... I believe we're going to be coming back to talk to Kevin. A little after show.
Think so. So...
He had some stuff to talk to us about,
I think so, yeah.
Well, we're not going to make any promises about that. But you'll be hearing a lot from the Loganverse crew as the road to Revan is paved.
Yep. We got a lot of good stuff
planned. This is JC.
And this is Jenks.
Signing off, guy.
All right.